Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
I heard, Evan, you poo-poo-pooing the whole thing that this might be a tough game. You poo-pooed it.
I'm with Evan.
All right, well, the game's in hand, so let's talk about, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? The Jets, you just never know in this league. Patriots 42-10. I was thinking that's a lot of work to be able to buy a car, keep it secret, and have it there on Christmas.
Almost like it's unrealistic. I find the actual analysis of the games to be interesting.
Oh.
That's what we do.
Wow.
I don't just pick and choose the analysis of the games that I liked the way they finished.
Okay. Ellen, Wisconsin, you've been scolded.
No, I just
your pants have been pulled down and you've been spanked.
It's not a mind-numbingly stupid
internet
argument.
audience.
They've been better than Houston all year.
No, they haven't. Not
They
lately.
have.
No, I don't think so. I disagree.
Eliminated
Everyone's
them.
scared of Houston, I'm told.
But that's your problem. I'm going to take Houston as well.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Tuesday here at Gillette Stadium, home of the AFC East Champs, right? That's right, baby. We're back. The East runs through Foxborough. That's all I am saying right now, right?
That's all you're going to say?
Freddie Fields, 42-10. On a heater. Freddie Fields on a heater.
Pretty cool.
Listen,
Been there, won that.
I'm starting to feel a little vibe.
Oh, whoa. You
Starting
caught
to
a
feel
vibe.
a little vibe here.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of vibe is this?
Well, back in 2001, you know, we needed help from the Carolina Panthers at the end of the season. No, we beat the Carolina Panthers to wrap up the AFC East. We needed help from, of all teams, the New York Jets to upset the Raiders last game of the season in order to get a bye. There were two byes back then.
Right.
And we were on the plane and trying to follow the game through the staticky little TV, 30,000 feet. And, you know, at the end of the day, the Jets ended up pulling off. Hall hit a 53-yard field goal to put them ahead. And it just reminded me this year, we were doing the same thing on the bus, watching the game and seeing if the Eagles, could pull out the win. And they did. And, you know, it wasn't for a bye, but it was the same kind of feeling.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you guys were on the plane / bus / wherever when it happened. Where exactly were you guys when you found out?
We were on the bus coming from Providence Airport to the stadium when the game finally ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right down to the end. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like pretty.
Oh, I couldn't believe, he was open in the end
I
zone.
know.
I don't know what.
He missed them.
Yeah, he missed
know.
him.
Bad throw.
He was open. Now, I think they should have just taken the extra point. They had all the momentum.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
the
Philly couldn't
couldn't
move
make
the
it.
ball. Yeah.
The Eagles couldn't do
Thank
anything.
you, Evan Lazar.
What do you mean? They literally couldn't. The field goal kicker stinks.
I know, but
And he got cut the
And he
next
got
day.
cut the next day.
Well, yeah, but that
For
was
his trouble.
the cover-up.
I don't think. Well, we don't have to argue about that.
Yeah, no, it's semantic.
We could do that
No.
later in the week.
No. Quick aside, though.
I would have done
that
exactly
was-
what they did.
I said it to you guys. It feels like Josh Allen has to leave a piece of his soul on the field every time he plays now. I don't know how they fix it, but he's a great player, but there's just so much on him right now.
Yep. All right, so that's the Bills. Thank you, Eagles, for making it a little easier for the Patriots to get the AFC East. I mean, the game is not even worth talking about. I mean,
We can talk
literally, I didn't know a player out in the field by the fourth quarter. I don't. Our own guys.
I didn't know any
Dobes.
any
Who's this
Jets the
Dobes
whole
at
game.
quarterback?
Yeah.
Why are you treating our guys like that? Come on, there's some guys.
I'm exaggerating
Except
a little,
for
but
Chisholm,
it was a preseason
What,
game.
did you have eyes on Fred when Chisholm caught his first NFL pass and then caught his first NFL touchdown?
There's
That's-
very,
and let me tell you
very
something.
excited people.
Had they wanted to, he could have caught 10 passes that game
Oh, yeah.
easily.
Oh, yeah. No,
Easily,
you can't
if they
cover him.
wanted to.
You can't cover him.
They're trying to keep him down, because they don't want
Secret weapon.
they don't want to
Secret weapon.
reveal this yet.
I don't think he's wrong.
But-
I don't think Fred's wrong. They didn't cover anybody the whole game.
He could have had 10 catches.
Sometimes literally.
There was literally like one contested catch where
Yeah.
Diggs mossed a guy on the sideline. That was it. Every other guy, like Rhamondre Stevenson running with a defensive end chasing him 20 yards
Right,
downfield.
just Drake
Like-
lobbing it in there.
Yeah, I mean, it was not
Yeah.
a
So
great day by Drake May.
Oh my
Five
God.
career high 5 touchdowns. Not exactly a lot of high level of difficulty throws.
But
No.
it was just the perfect medicine for the Patriots.
Perfect,
You know,
yeah.
just
Perfect,
like we
Freddie.
got to rest guys at the end. You know, you didn't lose any sleep over it. So
No,
great. And, you know, I think Miami game's going to be a little tougher than this one.
Yeah.
But it was just perfect medicine, I think, going into Week 18.
Yeah, it was just credit to them for coming out and just leaving no doubt. I mean, it was, what was it, 6 plays, right down the field, 3 and out, right down the field, interception, right down the field. I mean, it's just that's exactly what you were hoping for. And we haven't, you know, this is a new team to us still, but you're learning about them and you're seeing when they go and play a team that's kind of packing it in, they didn't blink. They just went down there and hammered them like they should. So it's I'd like to see more of the same this weekend against the Dolphins, but I mean, watching Drake in that game, he just looked, it was like the pinnacle of everything we've seen all year, where he's just comfortable in the pocket, he's calm, cool, collected, and just putting them out there for his guys.
So I know we're going to get, and I've already seen emails about, you know, what should they do next week? Should they rest guys? No. I mean, they still have to keep the number 2 seed. There is a chance that they could drop to the number 3 seed if a few things happen. Now, I don't know if those things
If they
but
lose
those
and
things
Jacksonville wins.
But
Yeah.
when is
3.
Jacksonville playing? What time?
1 o'clock.
Okay, so we'll know.
The Titans.
yeah.
So we'll know.
I think it's 1.
So if Jacksonville
Right.
wins,
There's
we'll
a
know.
lot of 4 o'clock games, but I don't know when that
Yeah.
one is.
So
Oh, please.
I still think you still have to play at least until you know the game's in hand, if that happens at all, because you don't want to drop to number 3. You want to keep number 2.
I agree, Fred.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ensures you have home playoff game up until and if you have to play the Broncos.
Yeah, Jags are at 1.
Yeah, and it looks like the Broncos are going to win because the Chargers have already announced that they're, which I think is a conspiracy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Jim Harbaugh is doing this for John Harbaugh.
This one's for John.
brothers.
Somehow, John told Jim, "I want to play the Patriots again," and so
Oh.
you know, there's a
Wait,
way. I
what?
think, yeah, it's a long.
You
it's
need
a
a
long
diagram.
story. Yeah,
I
to
have no
follow it
idea.
all.
No.
it's a long story.
How does this have anything to do with
It
John
took you
Harbaugh?
7 minutes for me to regret giving you all the props that I gave you to start the show.
But there's
I'm
no
confused.
there
Can you
is
explain?
there's a reason why.
Or could it be Justin
There's a
Herbert's
reason why the
injured
Chargers
hand?
don't want to do us any.
It is broken after
Yeah.
all.
They don't want to do
lack
us
of
any
tackles
favors.
against the
Yeah.
I'm very
best edge
confused.
players in
Yeah.
the league,
How
maybe.
does this have anything to do with John
So,
Harbaugh?
That has something to
Yeah.
do with it. No, I
Leave Maloney's on a roll.
no, I mean, I've started diving in on the Chargers. I mean, I think that seems like the matchup's going to be, but got to tape All Access this morning, the Big Boy Show.
Oh,
yeah, check it out
you get
Friday
called
night.
to the Big Boy
WBZ.
Oh, now we can. You know,
Now we promote it.
now we can promote All Access because Mike
Fair
was
enough.
on it.
No, but I mean, I just honestly feel any one of these teams in the AFC, except for maybe Pittsburgh, could come out of it. And there's reasons, pluses and minuses for every single team. And who do you want to play? And I'm like, well, either way, no matter who they play, they're going to have to play great. And there's going to be challenges from each of these teams. Chargers got a good defense, but they're banged up at tackle. Herbert's banged up, and
I think Chargers, to me, are the weakest team going in. You said Pittsburgh. How can you count
Pittsburgh by
Pittsburgh?
far is the weakest team going. It's the only team that doesn't have a chance to come out of the AFC.
You say that, but then they keep winning. They keep winning
they
games that
literally
they have
just
to win.
lost.
How'd they
to the
do last
Browns.
week?
So what? They're in the playoffs, and
No, they're not.
what do you mean they're not?
remember about the
They're
John
not in the
Harbaugh
playoffs.
Yeah,
favor?
the
Well,
Ravens can still
they
win.
have to beat the Ravens.
Right. They have to win a game to get in.
And they've got a conspiracy going against them now, Fred.
Yeah.
Apparently.
But I there's no team in the AFC based on what the landscape looks at that I count out.
No.
Jacksonville.
I don't
See,
count that out.
I don't count
them
Jacksonville.
out.
I think 6 teams have a chance. Pittsburgh, if Pittsburgh beats Baltimore, Pittsburgh is the only one I wouldn't give a chance
Jacksonville's
to.
not winning the
If
AFC.
Baltimore wins, I'd say all 7 have a chance.
I like this,
So wait
though.
a
I
minute.
like
you
Evan's
just, but
disdain
if
for
Pittsburgh
Jacksonville.
beats Baltimore, what is that saying?
That means that they beat Baltimore.
Okay, but
I don't think they're very good. I don't think they're capable of winning 4 games in a
they're
row.
good enough to beat Baltimore.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think they're good enough to win 3 games in a row.
All right, that's true.
In the playoffs,
that might
I
be
don't.
true, but I don't.
I think
rule
the
it-
quarterback is by far the worst quarterback out of the playoff teams in the AFC.
but capable of having a good game.
Game, yes.
Yeah.
Not going to the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. All right. So
He's
anyway,
also capable of putting,
He is.
laying an egg at
He is.
Cleveland, one of
He
the worst
is.
teams in football.
at this point, I'd rather play the Chargers than Pittsburgh
Okay.
in one
wouldn't.
game. I would.
I wouldn't.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing old
Well, you
Aaron
can't play
Rodgers come
Pittsburgh,
here.
so
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't. Yeah.
No, you can't.
You can't play Pittsburgh
AFC
or Baltimore
Championship.
until the
Here.
Yeah, I guess it would be the championship, right? 2-4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, unless one of the wild card teams that plays in Denver, then I guess you could theoretically.
Right. If 3 loses and
Yeah.
somebody low.
Yep.
I guess that
Yeah,
would,
we don't need to get a popsicle head.
No. At some point, I do want to talk about the Drake May nickname. I have warmed up to Drake May. I totally get it. I've done the research. I understand how it started. I like the reasoning.
I literally explained it to you last week. What do you mean you did the
No, I
need
got
to check some independent
a little
sources.
bit technical thing that we didn't get right.
Oh,
last
Somebody
week.
called into the postgame show
Explained
and
it.
offered a huge piece of the puzzle
Yeah.
that I was not aware of until that. That's the only thing.
We'll see if that's
The
true.
Tom Brady part of it?
Yeah.
What about
Hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
What about Tom Brady?
Evidently, the Drake May lover is the one who someone said it's Drake, Tom Brady, May, and the Drake May lover said, no. He's too good for that. It's
Right.
Drake, May.
Right.
That's how
And
it
there
all
it is.
came
And
about.
And that's how it came about, and I love
Still
it.
not funny,
oral
but
history. It
that's,
doesn't need to be-
that's a big difference.
It makes sense to me. I like it.
I gave that guy props on the postgame show.
I
You
like
listening
it.
to the postgame show?
A little bit. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things we talk a lot about, like trying to create a new tradition. Like you can't really. I remember when I started here and you guys were like, "Do you have any nicknames?" And I was like, "Well, people call me Deuce," and you're like, "Eh." And then I was like D-Train for a little while. Like, I feel like it's the same.
D-Train?
Yeah, well, that was a Nick Baby Love thing. Call
Dontrell
me,
Willis?
And
Yeah.
D-Train, who's my
Nick
guy
Baby
from
Love
Holy
given.
Cross. Hope you're out there.
But
Nick.
that's when Fred taught you sexual assault.
Sexual assault, and then all of a sudden we landed back on Deuce. But this one, it's gonna stick.
I
This
like
is
it. Drake May.
It's definitely gonna stay.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
now
this is it.
it's become a thing.
Well, the NFLPA is now selling the I Heart Drake May
Yeah, I have
T-shirts.
I don't
No,
like
they're
that.
He
they're-
is his nickname.
He is his nickname.
He is his nickname.
him.
You know, and I started thinking about it. Someone said this last week that a lot of the great quarterbacks, they don't really have nicknames. And I started to think about it, and it's kind of right.
Yeah.
Like,
Goat.
Broadway Joe.
yeah, but you got to go back a way, like
Right.
Roger the Dodger,
Right.
you know, stuff like that. But like,
When things were corny.
what was Tom? What
Yeah,
was
agreed.
Tom Brady's nickname?
Well,
You
he
know?
became the GOAT.
No, but
The
like
Pharaoh.
That's a
Remember
little
somebody
different.
tried that?
Yeah.
Like,
It sounded like P.O.
you know, Peyton Manning. Like, I don't know, like they call
Peyton.
him the sheriff, or
sheriff,
something. But
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
there's not too many. Aaron
Well,
Rodgers,
Naff.
you know,
A-Rod.
A-Rod.
right?
He's just A-Rod.
But like those are more like TB.
Yeah.
Like those are your initials.
Brett
like,
Favre.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think that whoever that was,
Start
I'd like
of
to
the
give
show
credit
is
for the person,
Something.
but I don't think a lot of the
No, they
quarterbacks
didn't.
have.
No.
have
Elway
nicknames.
didn't, Marino
Elway,
didn't.
Marino,
Yep.
Montana.
Jim Kelly.
You
Joe
become
Cool was
You
Joe
mean
Cool.
Joe
Joe
Cool.
Montana?
Yeah.
Montana.
I did like when Don Meredith
Actual?
used to call him Jimmy Joe Idaho on Monday Night Football, but Joe Cool I think was probably his nickname. There's
Right.
one.
Yeah.
That's one.
But that's, again, a long time ago.
Yeah.
A lot of Lamar Jackson doesn't have one.
He's
right?
just Lamar.
I call him Lamarvelous, but
Yeah.
you know.
That's just me.
As Randy
You
Scott would say,
do?
as Randy Scott would say on ESPN, they don't call him that. They should though.
Josh Allen doesn't have one. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have one.
No,
they're
no.
just
Joe
Josh
Burrow
Allen.
is Joe Cool,
Joe,
right?
No.
We're
No, he's
recycling
not?
that one.
I thought he was
Joe
Joe
Burr.
Cool.
Joe Burr.
No, just
I
Joe
like the
Burrow.
Joe Burr. Like
Yeah.
he's cold. He's cool.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hard. It has to be
Nickname-
organic though. You
It
can't,
does.
you
It
can't
does.
come
You
up
can't
with-
force it.
Yeah. It's been funny.
So,
Mischaracterized, but fun.
so I know we have a lot of people emailing in offering nicknames.
No,
We're not
no,
taking
no,
them.
no,
It's Drake, May. That's it.
What was
That's
the
his
one somebody
nickname.
called
Can
the
we
Rake?
get something
Was
better
that-
than that?
No,
I don't
there is
know.
nothing better than that.
But
That
how
is
do you
his
know if you
nickname.
don't hear it?
I don't need to hear it.
Okay,
That is it.
that's open-minded. Good, Paul. Sound a little like me there.
Mayday. but
Yeah.
It is a good name though for if you guys were still doing covers at
Mayday
PFW.
Malone.
There's a lot of opportunities for the Drake and May and all that. You know, a lot of puns.
Thank you, Drake. May I have another? You like that?
No,
No.
I don't like that one, Fred.
Okay. See, nothing's better.
No,
I didn't say there was anything better, but I mean, someone might have a suggestion. You hear it, and you're like, "Oh, wow, that's pretty good."
He's Drake May.
I don't know why he needs a nickname.
This person's writing in the Force.
Okay, Drake May,
Why does he need a nickname?
Delete.
No.
Drake May.
This reminds me of, and
And that's like not even
Yeah.
like it's a nickname, but like no one's gonna like say all of that when they talk. It's just kind of like I don't know. It's not like the truth for Paul Pierce was like a nickname, right? Like I don't think that this is like
every
that.
NBA guy has a nickname.
Yeah, but
For
like
the
I don't,
Seekers, right?
I don't see that people
answer.
like doing it like that. Like this is not.
Shaq.
Yeah, I mean,
This is
big
not
ticket-
like that.
this person, Juggle Lonely
Mamba.
from California, says after this explanation, he wants to call him Drake, the Duke of May. No,
Duke.
No.
The Duke's the ball.
You're getting a little like
I don't know
angry
why.
about
This
it.
is
Why are
the
you
fact
getting
that this
angry?
is
Drake May Flowers.
He's gatekeeping
No.
nickname.
No.
Well, I remember seeing Andy Hart
Mayhem.
2010.
No.
saying Gronk, oh, this Rob Gronkowski's great. His nickname should be G-Force. And I was like, Andy, this Gronk. He's Gronk. Like, this is going to be Gronk. That's the nickname. You can't come up with a nickname like G-Force. That's not going to stick. I don't know if you remember that. Did he try to make that work on the show? You probably don't remember. I don't know why
Fred,
that sticks
Fred
in my
probably
head.
yelled at him and
I was like, Andy Hart,
shouted him down.
Oh, Big Ben Roethlisberger. That was
Big
a
Ben.
nickname.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I didn't give it as much thought. There was a few of them out there.
It's kind of like they call him the first name, right? Like that was Ben. Everyone calls some quarterbacks, their nickname is just their first name.
Yeah, like Lamar.
Lamar.
No
Ben.
one,
Highway
no one calls
11
him
to
Jackson.
Doughboy to Dirty Dave to Smoking Joe to Winnie the Pooh.
What was that?
What's that from?
That's Cam Newton naming all the nicknames on the team.
Oh, remember that?
Yeah,
remember that?
yeah.
Oh, and then he
Doughboy, Nikhil Harry.
Right.
What did that mean, Cam?
Wait, whose middle name did he have wrong? Can remember Cam Newton had somebody's middle name?
McCorkle.
McCorkle. That was
Yeah.
Mac, right?
After he insisted, oh, you don't know it?
McClellan.
You're right,
No,
McClellan.
I was really,
George McClellan. He's in his Civil
Do
War.
you remember that? Ed?
Yes.
yeah, I did not like Cam Newton coming in and immediately
Putting his
giving
stamp on people.
It's a
Right.
very passive,
Yeah.
it's an aggressive alpha dog try it move
Yeah.
to like do that. Like, I will now give you your nickname.
Right.
And to everybody. That was ridiculous. Yeah. I didn't like that at all.
Didn't care
What's
for
the
it.
matter, Evan?
What?
Why are you laughing?
16 minutes without any X's and
I
O's.
mean, this is
He wants to
this is
talk
funny.
about.
Huh?
Wants to talk about the game. I think.
Well, I mean, is there a lot to talk about?
that-
I read
don't
your,
I think
I
what
read
we're doing.
your after further review, and even you said it in there. There's not much to talk
Yeah,
about.
I
don't
think
think
this
there's
is
a
a
lot.
great start to the show.
Why?
It's been great. That's it.
We're having fun.
You'll make up for it on Catch
We're having
22.
fun.
I'm sure.
No, I don't think there's a tremendous amount to talk about from the game. I mean, other than what Mike said, they had an overwhelmed team and they overwhelmed them from the first play of the game
Yeah.
until they decided,
Yep.
we're done knocking you around.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what you wanted to see. I thought that was a great statement. I kind of think the guys that they were missing almost worked in their favor because if you had any fear of coming off an emotional win on the Sunday Night Football in Baltimore,
That's a good point.
you may be having a little bit of a letdown. Well, the guys that were playing had no reason to have a letdown.
Yeah.
They need to go out and
Afton
play.
Chisholm's ready.
Kyle
like my
Williams
time to
was going to
shine.
get
Yeah.
some targets in that game. He needed to be ready to go. Fred's boy, Afton Chisholm, same thing.
Yeah.
You know, even Anthony Jennings, he's been sort of a spot player here and there. He's going to be out there for Harold Landry at times. I don't know how many plays he played in the game, but
Yeah.
those guys couldn't afford to just mail it in and overlook the Jets. They're trying to carve out a role, see if they can,
Yeah.
win some confidence in the coaching staff and get a role going forward. So I thought it was a really professional performance by the whole team.
Yeah.
Just dominant on all levels of the game.
It's hard not to just turn the page to injuries and really try to think about. I mean, Vrabel said yesterday that Will Campbell will practice this week. Don't know if that means he's going to actually play in this last game, but between him and Landry and Spillane, it's just that to me is everything. How many of these guys are ready to play this weekend, and how many of these guys are you going to go into the playoff being like, all right, we'll see what it looks like on defense when we get to that playoff?
Now,
game.
Williams can he play?
Williams,
they
could-
activate him,
Williams,
yeah.
could
He
He
play.
started practicing
Yeah,
last
He
week.
could have played
Yeah, he
last
could have
week.
played.
Williams
they
and
activated
Campbell
him.
are eligible to be activated at any time, and they can come back and play.
Would you put Campbell right in? I mean, this is gonna be his first week practicing in like
I don't
5
know.
weeks.
It depends on how healthy he is. I mean, I think we've seen guys come back from MCLs. I'm thinking like Gerard Mayo, sometime in the middle of his career, come back with a brace. But it's a really interesting question because Darian Lowe's been okay, and not that I would say, oh, we can't put Will Campbell in for Lowe, but at the same time, I guess maybe it's at least comforting to know that if Will Campbell doesn't quite have it, that you at least feel like you have a solid backup option. Certainly better than like what the Chargers are doing.
Feel
where,
a lot better about it now than I would have the day that he went down in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Because I think Lowe's done okay.
Yeah.
And I think the line in general, I've been saying this all year. They've improved, and I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. Not the least of which is the scheme and Drake himself. I think Drake is doing a lot of things for the line the way Tom Brady used to. Different way because he's much more athletic back there the way he does it. But he's able to move around, get himself some time, and he's so dangerous when he's off platform. And the line's been fine. I've had no real issues with the offense, even though they've taken a lot of sacks. I've had no issues really with the protection.
Have you guys ever seen anything like this though with Drake May? Like we talked about it on Patriots All Access Friday night.
Goodness.
Featuring Deuce.
Fred, you've
probably
created
released
a monster.
solid like 6 minutes of me in there. No, but all these teams are. I'm sorry. The point I was trying to make was just seeing Drake come out of nowhere with this season. Like none of us. We watch every training camp practice. We record a show about every training camp practice. We went to joint practices. We watched all the preseason games. We watched him throw an interception to Alex Austin in the in-stadium practice, and we all were walking downstairs, or at least I was, being like, oh boy, like this is going to be up and down this year. That never once did I think during watching training camp that this guy was going to put together like an MVP caliber season. And even in week 3, you know, like week 4, you know, like all of a sudden, out of nowhere.
Settled in that Carolina game in week 4. But like you're right, the first week was not good. The third week, I would say, was more up and down. He had some moments in the Pittsburgh game, but he had some really bad moments too. And then it kind of, I thought he was pretty good in Miami in the game in between, but that was kind of a lesser workload for him. I think he only threw like 20 passes in that game.
He was really good in that game.
Yeah, I agree. And then the Carolina game, since then, it's really been like just the trajectory is up every game.
You mentioned MVP. He's now the leader in the clubhouse.
Well, I was
right?
going to add, like, we were like 20 minutes in. I think he won the MVP last night.
With Stafford
throwing 3 picks. Now, I don't know what the voting's going to be like, and I'm not telling you it's robbery if Stafford gets it. You know, he still has, you know, great numbers and stuff, but I think May deserves the MVP because of the team that he's doing it for. I don't think it's as talented a team as the Rams is.
Yeah, it's going to be a question of, you know, a couple different things. Like May's schedule is going to factor into it for some voters. Stafford's supporting cast is going to factor it into for other voters.
May,
So, like, is that going to wash out? And I think that there's another element of it of, you know, box score volume stats versus efficiency.
Yeah. And I would even say the running.
Right.
You know, the running
best
is part
running
of
game
it
in the
too.
league in the Rams, right?
No, I mean,
well, Drake's
May's running.
Right.
May's
So
running.
if you add Drake May's passing yards with his rushing yards, he's outgaining Matthew Stafford. But Stafford's going to throw for more passing yards than Drake May this year. But if you put both the yards together, which is what stats like QBR and EPA and those types of things try to do, there's no doubt that he's been the more efficient and more productive quarterback. I mean, really, the only category that Stafford, now that he threw 3 picks in one game, that he hasn't beat on is touchdowns, total touchdowns. You know, 8 of which are from the 1 yard line of him throwing fades to Adams and Puka.
How many of Drake's?
Not 8, I can tell you that.
You didn't look it up though, huh?
Because that's not really what he does.
Didn't care to check that one.
I think that, you know, when you look at all these graphics, it's like Drake has every statistical category, and then Stafford has total touchdowns, and that's pretty much it. And it's like the only thing that you could say that argues against Drake is that he had an easier schedule, and that Stafford was playing in the NFC West and played tougher defenses.
And I think you're right about the stats. It depends on how you look at them. I would look at Stafford's stats as being better, but I would look at May's cast of characters like that to me far and away.
No,
it's so lopsided in May's favor that's the deciding factor.
I think Stafford's stats are better, but the way I do it is the value to the team.
I don't understand what stats are better. Like,
well, they both have 8 interceptions, and May has thrown far fewer passes. So interception percentage is better for Stafford. Touchdowns is better for Stafford. Yards are better for Stafford.
Well,
rushing is better for May.
Okay, but completion percentage is better for May.
Okay.
Pass yards per attempt is better than for May. EPA, QBR, passer rating,
and that's going to be. But that's going to be the fascinating thing. The stats that you and a lot of your
ilk.
Here we go.
No.
Here we go.
But you only named 2 stats.
well, yards, touchdowns, interceptions. The only 3 stats that I really care about.
Okay, but if you're going to use the argument,
that doesn't mean I'm right. I would give it to May. I'm telling you, I would pick May, even though he doesn't have those stats.
But if you're using
those are the stats that I care about.
But if you're using the argument that he's thrown 3 fewer interceptions on more attempts, he's also has more.
They both have 8 interceptions.
Right, but he also has more passing yards on more attempts.
Yeah, he does.
So you can't use it both ways.
Sure, you can. He's been asked to throw the ball more often, and that's harder. That's part of like Drew Bledsoe in '94 threw for 4,500 yards because he had to throw the ball every play. He had the whole offense on his shoulders.
There's a good stat out there that quarterbacks who throw more than 50 times in a game lose well more often.
Yeah, and teams that run the ball more than 40 win all the time
Brady
and don't turn the ball over.
Brady was the guy that counteracted that stat, but it was very rare.
He won no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, and just to be clear here, I want to reiterate, May is my pick. And May has been my pick for about a month.
Yeah.
Because I think the more I see from Drake May, like maybe the final nail was the comeback against Baltimore for me, but I had been trending to May's doing more with less. And that to me overrides it than Stafford. And you guys know I love Stafford. I've always liked Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I famously once told, and Fred will tell you, I once said that I would have traded Tom Brady
Patrick
to the Lions for the #1 overall pick for Stafford.
So you liked him coming out?
Georgia?
Is that where he was?
Yeah.
Georgia? Yeah.
I was a big fan coming out, so I do like him. I think Drake May's had a better year. Evan has a lot of stats that tell me that I'm right. Right? You just had like the EPAs and the yards per attempt.
Even just like traditional passer rating,
all of those,
if you don't want to.
All of those stats are all in May's favor.
Yeah.
So it's not like I have to make a stretch for it, but I do come back to Stephon Diggs coming off a torn ACL as opposed to Puka Nacua.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sorry, the check mark goes to May.
Yeah.
You know, Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, good solid 1-2 punch behind a run. Like, you know, they play a lot of multiple tight ends. They like to run the ball a lot. They have a great scheme. And I think he has a lot more to work with. And I think Drake May has done more with less. That's my pick.
No, I agree. And it's just even the eye test of watching both these guys, I would just say they both have that calm energy of just knowing where to go with the ball, not panicking. And I mean, they both have had fantastic seasons. I'm just consider it so cool to be able to like watch this whole process unfold from training camp where, you know, you guys have seen an MVP and usually that MVP is amazing from the get-go. And you know he's an MVP candidate. This was a kid in his second year coming out of nowhere and taking the whole league by storm. And I mean, this has been a great year to watch, a lot of wins, but that part of it for me is just, especially when we spent so much time talking about how do we find the next quarterback? I mean, we burn hours and hours on this show talking about what's the best way to get it. And Paul's got stats about you got to draft him in the top half of the round, you know, but then there's like guys like Darnold who are out there and do you get the right one or the wrong one? And, you know, to finally land on the guy and see him really blossom, it's exciting. And you understand why Patriot fans are so excited.
We got our guy.
Yeah,
we got our guy.
The mastery of the system is not something that I expected to happen so quickly. And that's where the consistency has come from, is because he's operating so well within the structure of the system. So he's not being Superman all the time. You know, the throw to Diggs on Sunday, there's a handful of those types of plays a game, but it's not like it has to be that way every single time. And I think that's the biggest difference between his rookie season, the beginning of this year, where it felt like he had to be Superman for them to get yards. Now it's like Paul's thing. They can win just conventionally. He can just drop back and sit in the pocket and win. And that is why the turnovers are down. That's why the peaks and valleys of his play have, you know, kind of evened out, is because he's just operating at such a high level within structure. And then you add, you know, kind of the other stuff on top.
Like, what do you put into, you know, I think Josh McDaniels deserves a lot of credit, but I know his system, like we talked about it, a lot goes on the quarterback, but I know hearing Tom Brady talk about Josh being the kind of guy that teaches the quarterback what to look for, you know, not wanting a robot, wanting a guy who can be out there, think for himself, put himself in good position. And I mean, I think that system is kind of a shoot for the moon kind of system where it's like, you know, let's teach this guy how to run it and do it. And you know, I don't know what Josh's future is going to be like here. I hope he's here for a while again, but still, I think the teaching that they've given him is going to last him through changes that are inevitably going to happen. You know, there's going to be turnover at the wide receiver, tight end, running back positions. There might be an offensive coordinator turnover, but the strides he's made, I really just believe it's sustainable now, and that the intelligence and the experience that he's getting is just going to continue to snowball for him.
Yeah, it's incredible that he has such command at the line of scrimmage for such a young player. And I remember when we talked about this system, like it's on the quarterback to make all of the calls at the line of scrimmage, whether it's protections or different mic points with run game stuff. And it's not, most systems put that on the center, But this system puts it on the quarterback because they want the quarterback to be in the cockpit and have control of everything to see things and kind of survey and whatever. And he just doesn't make very many mental mistakes. Like, you don't see a whole lot of, oh, well, they probably should have slid it this way, or they probably had it aimed wrong that way, or whatever the case may be. And, they're using different tells, motions and indicators and things like that to give him information. And he's just able to do it at such a high level that I wasn't studying Brady, year 2 like I do with Drake May, so I couldn't tell you. But it just feels like I don't see that very often with other young quarterbacks around the league, that they have such a command of the whole offense.
Yeah, right.
And that has to come back to obviously Drake May's, IQ, but also Josh McDaniels' ability to coach it.
Yeah, he deserves a lot of
teach
credit.
it.
Yeah.
But that part of it is probably the thing that has surprised me the most, is because I thought that he'd be a guy that, that's one of those, he held the ball too long, or they tricked him there. They cut underneath. He was expecting this. He got that. I haven't really seen that at all. I mean, very, very rarely has he looked like he got fooled by a coverage or threw the ball into the wrong spot.
Yeah, the Jets had one on Sunday where they actually ran a pretty good coverage, and they tried to trap him into throwing the ball to Diggs, and with a trap corner where the corner looks like he's going to carry the route and then jumps the underneath route. And he ran it on 4th down. And you watch him and he starts to load up to throw to Diggs, and then he pulls it down at the last second and then looks and runs out of the pocket and picks up the first down. And I was like, that's just unbelievable. Like,
was that a 2-man? Were they running 2-man against him?
I don't remember exact coverage. It was just a trap coverage.
That meant something different.
But yeah, they had the slot looked like he was carrying Kyle Williams vertical, and he just kind of fell off Kyle Williams and jumped Diggs' route underneath. And 9 out of 10 23-year-old quarterbacks throw a pick six right there. Like I watched Stafford throw a pick six last night on the exact same coverage, and Drake May just sees it. And that stuff is rare. Like, we always knew that he had the talent. Right. I did not know that he had it between the ears as well as he's shown, at least so far this year.
Yeah. So, when it comes to Drake May and the offense, I think we're in good shape. I would assume Booty's going to come back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Matt Collins is going to be out, so they're going to have to figure out a little bit
he'll be out, but
change up.
But Kyle Williams is coming on.
Yeah.
He had the one drop, but it seems like every game now he's making a big play.
Might have been Drake's best throw of the day.
I didn't have him on the down list. I always call it. I didn't have him on the bad list, but I gave some constructive criticism after the game to Kyle Williams.
Almost finger wagging.
I didn't want to put him on the bad list because it was a great win, and he contributed. But you just see some of the little details of making sure you got the right depth. Catching the ball consistently, but I like it.
Coming back inside the first down mark on your own twice.
Right, he got lucky there.
Once was very close. Fortunately, Stretch, I assume, signaled down to Mike and had him challenge it.
Rabel was standing right in front of us.
Right.
But I'll tell you, watching the replay,
it was very close. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you could have flipped the coin on that one.
And I would say Rhamondre Stevenson is playing his best ball right now.
Heck yeah.
Terrific.
This
all
season.
around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He was my. What is that segment I do now? I forget. One of the segments I did. No, this was one of my sponsored segments on the postgame show.
Something to build on.
Something to build on. Yeah, right. Yeah. Nah,
He's on a little bit of a 3-game heater.
It's the thing.
Yeah.
Begins with an A. What is it?
Aaron's?
No.
He's not the best pitch man in the business.
Snowblower of the game. But no, that was exactly what I said. I mean, just Henderson seemed maybe. Autodesk. Thank you. Sorry.
We love our friends at Autodesk.
I forgot the segment. But I think that's a great development for this Patriots team as they get in the playoffs, having Rhamondre Stevenson looking like he's healthy and contributing in all facets. And just like I think Henderson maybe a little rusty after missing the week, and he seemed like he didn't quite find the room that we were hoping for. But if they can really peak with those two guys and have that 1-2 punch going in the playoffs, it's going to be a big help to Drake.
Henderson ran hard in this game. He pushed some piles, and maybe that's something to
Just
do
couldn't find the seam maybe
with the Jets, not being able to tackle or not wanting to tackle. But Rhamondre just putting together 3 weeks now of just all around.
Yep.
Great play, pass game, run game, blocking, all of it. I think he missed one block last week, and Ivan Fears gave him a hard time for that, so that was funny. Yeah. But overall, he's just looked really, really good. And some of the stuff that they're doing with him now in the passing game is going to pay dividends because those are tough things to cover. Is he blocking? Is he running to the flat? Is he getting vertical? Different things like that. So he's been really, really good. And now you can start to see, how they can complement each other and how that can really be a good 1-2 punch in January when you want to be able to run the ball and you want to be able to, elements and all that good stuff. So it's been fun to watch Rhamondre last couple weeks. He's looks all the way back.
855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at Patriots.com is the email address. I'm getting flooded with Drake May nicknames, so maybe we'll get to that later. I don't want to just go down and saying nicknames, but to me, it's
Snake Stabler. That's another one.
It's Drake May. That's it. But
Drake May.
I'll read some later. In case there's something great. I haven't seen it yet, but
is there anything
who am I to
terrible?
judge? What?
Is there anything terrible?
In my opinion, all of them. But that's again, who am I to judge?
Drake May.
But people are chomping at the bit.
Champing
at the bit.
Just
That's
gonna
an
call him
Eric. That's an
MVP.
Eric.
To get their thoughts out there. So let's get to the phones. We will start with Vinny in Vegas. What's up, Vinny?
Vinny.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey.
It's crazy how the last night's game where Stafford wasn't great, how the odds changed so much. I mean, going into that game, it was his MVP, and then after the game, it's like just completely flips. It's crazy to me how the odds change so quickly. The other thing I have for you guys is, I feel confident if we have to play the Chargers. They're just very inconsistent. I would say they are the most inconsistent team in the league. 1 week they bring it, they're awesome, and then the next week they just, they're terrible. I do have a question for you guys, and I'll take this off the air. If you had only one draft pick this next coming draft, which I know is not the case, but I just want to hear your thoughts on this. One draft pick and can only bring in one free agent, or, what would be those two positions that you would 100% say, we need this, based on what we've seen this year? And like I said, thank you for everything you guys do. This year has been awesome.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Vinny.
So I have two players I can bring in. Forget about who they are, but what do they do?
Edge definitely
Edge
on that
rusher.
list to me. Edge is definitely on that list to me.
I go edge wide receiver.
Yeah, I think edge and I'll just say pass catcher. Like if it's a tight end, it's a tight end. If it's a receiver, it's a receiver.
Yep.
But
I like the tight
either
end
one.
thing. I like that. I mean, I think that's a great way to just. I'll probably say this a lot in the offseason, but they have to change this year. They have to get better. They can't think we're going to run it back with this team, plug a couple gaps. Like the 2004 team brought in Corey Dillon after you won the Super Bowl. They changed the equation for other teams on how to defend them. And I think with Drake May, the way he's playing, I think it gives you some flexibility.
So we're all perfectly fine with the way the offensive line is right now going into next
I only
year?
have
gotta
two.
prioritize.
I only have two to pick
I
from,
know.
so I have to, in that scenario, I have to go with Morgan Moses another year.
yeah, I don't know what else you do in the offensive line for now. Like I think center, right tackle.
Those are going to be holes that you need to fill.
But I think you keep Bradbury and Moses for the time being, and let's see how long they can keep it up for.
Yeah.
And then Wilson will obviously factor into one of those interior spots.
All right. What about linebacker?
I think that's a consideration. I mean, I wouldn't put it as a priority.
I mean,
but
everybody wants a line to sideline linebacker. All 32 teams want. Oh God, we could really use a linebacker who can cover. So can the rest of the NFL.
You see Zach Bond in that game covering James Cook
it was a really,
downfield.
really good play.
Yeah.
A couple of really good
can
plays.
There's
run, man.
maybe 5 teams. Healthy Fred Warner when he was San Francisco, Zach Bond, Schlesinger. Everybody wants
There's
to
a
cover.
lot of. I mean, it's not a super. I mean, it's not a super premium position, but I do feel like every year there's one or two of those guys that.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's
Devin
and
Lloyd.
the kinds that Evan's talking about are like Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
In his prime. Those they're rare. They are rare. Evan's
It's
right.
really
There's not
hard to
every
find
team
guys
has one
that
of those
can
guys.
stop the run and the pass and be able to stay in all situations. That's pretty rare to find those types of guys. So ideally you could get somebody next to Spillane that has some athleticism that can run a little bit, but then
What about a Hamilton type safety?
Yeah. I mean,
I love it all.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I think Mike's point is be excited about how fast and how far you've come, but don't be satisfied that you're there.
Right.
Because there's still a lot of improvements that can be made.
You're out of relegation next year. You're going to have to play some other teams. But
I would argue that you almost have to treat it like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because the schedule is going to get significantly harder next year. And
Everyone's gunning for
now
you
you have
now,
an
too.
expectation. Like, you almost have to act like you made the step that you thought you were going to make, which was probably going to be like a 7 or 8 win team, and not get too caught up in the fact that you went this far.
The AFC East is back to the way it used to be. It's just the
Order's
Patriots
been
and
restored.
everybody else.
Right,
Because
right.
the window's closed in Buffalo.
As Fred predicted.
You know, Miami's
So we can only hope that they don't treat it that way.
Miami's in turmoil. The Jets are the Jets.
The Jets are the Jets.
The Jets are definitely
we've
the
got
Jets.
the AFC East for the foreseeable future. So that's good.
Lockdown. It's on lockdown. Just real
I
quick
agree.
on the edge position. The more I've watched,
I'm going to make an off-season bet with you.
the more I've watched of these really good quarterbacks, it just feels like you absolutely have to have a dominating edge player in today's NFL. I mean, just go look at the Houston game versus the Bills and what they did to Josh Allen. I know Houston has a special pass rush off the edge, but with Milton Williams and Christian Barmore, you get one more of the guys off the
Another
edge.
one of those Rabel things.
What's that?
I know they have a special player.
I'm starting to talk.
critical
I'm slowly.
that we get to pass rushers.
You know the Vrabel thing that we're talking
If
about?
I ever come in here in like a vest with longs, you guys gotta be like, dude, you're becoming too Vrabel. But I think that's the quickest way to improve. We talk about the schedule getting better quarterbacks next year. You need a dude on the edge next year.
So something I would also be prepared for, and I don't know how it's all going to, unfold and manifest, but the guy's going to win the MVP. And if he's not going to win the MVP, he's going to be second. Defensive coordinators are going to spend the offseason trying to figure out how the hell we slow this guy
get
down.
an incompletion.
Right?
Yeah.
How are we going to slow this guy down?
Good luck.
We got to figure it out. I know Phil Perry, there is no blueprint to stop him, but that's what's going to happen. You need to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Like what happens.
And as I
That's
said,
why you need to add, I think, another playmaker on top of what you already have.
Right.
Not to mention Diggs, Henry, like those guys are getting up there in age. Like, you can't always count on those guys being as productive as they have been. So, but I think that's the biggest thing is you can't get complacent. You have to keep stacking talent on the roster. And like I said, like I would almost treat it like you didn't have a 13, 14 win season.
I love that, Ev. And I mean, I also nothing against Austin Hooper. I think he's been solid. I think he's a really good locker room guy, good complimentary piece. But his free agency, he's going to be up. Seems like an opportunity to me to maybe try to find a dynamic kind of number 2 guy that maybe you can groom behind Henry. That just has, like Ev said, changed the equation. Now instead of just spending your whole time on Drake May, well, now it's now they're going to have Corey Dillon, and we got to figure out how to stop that kind of thing.
I'm just laughing. They have on
there's your
ESPN,
stats
they have the tail of the tape for the MVP, and it's rush yards.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Stafford. That's hilarious.
He's got -2 rushing yards. Come on, Matthew.
-2 rushing yards. That is absolutely hilarious.
Be better.
Same amount of turnovers as both though. Eight picks and 3
picks.
fumbles.
A lot more green checks on May's side of the ledger.
Well, that's absolutely.
that's-
Well, their records and whatnot. He's got the better numbers. I mean, May does.
We've got the MVP. Think about that.
Why?
If you were to say last year, the Patriots are going to draft a quarterback.
I was like, it's happened a lot in the past. I mean, why are we? Okay.
Even with
guy.
May on the team last year, to say next year he's going to be the MVP of the league.
Not even the biggest
You'd be like,
Patriots honk would have
I would
tried to sell you
have
on that
said
one.
he could be an MVP eventually.
Yes,
right,
but
right.
not the second
I
year.
could see him
No
if
chance.
he develops, he has the skill to be an MVP. I would have said something like that.
Yeah.
No
Right.
way I would have said he's going to be the MVP now.
Right, and we all knew he had all the physical gifts in the world that you need to be the MVP.
I didn't
but as
even
we
think in
talked-
like September or October, like we were going to be having a rational MVP conversation.
Right, that's why the question I brought up earlier. It's just it happened so fast.
The first Buffalo game was like, toe-to-toe with Josh Allen on national TV.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when people started
Yep.
writing in, and I was very skeptical, full disclosure. But again, you can continue to just be skeptical and say that what's happening isn't happening. And that just makes you wrong and then, stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can say, hey, I didn't look at it that way, and that's proven, 14. They're going to be 14-3. I can sit there and say, it's a 6 or 7 win team because that's what I thought.
Right.
Oh, but if this didn't happen, no. They went out and won the games, and they proved me wrong. They proved a lot of people wrong.
It's in the last couple of weeks in the NFL too. I mean, Cleveland beat the Steelers. Cleveland almost beat Buffalo. Atlanta beat the Rams last night in a game where the Rams needed a blocked field goal to even make it really a
It is
game.
kind of a picture of the league. You're right.
Yeah.
It's happening.
And the
All over the
Patriots
league.
beat every team they were supposed to beat.
Yep.
Well,
And so
That Raiders won.
not everyone.
season openers don't count.
It's hard.
But I really try not to do that. I try to treat the Patriots like I do every other
Okay,
team.
so they won 13 out of 14 of the games they were
No, I
supposed
know,
to
but
win.
just because they had more of those opportunities than everybody else, like they just had that on that slate too.
Right.
Schedule 32nd,
Yeah.
6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
for
against
the
common
Rams.
opponents, the Rams were 4-2. The Patriots were 6-0.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
what does that mean?
That we beat
The teams that the
they
Rams
lost.
and
Yeah,
the
but
Patriots both
but
played.
how would you have done with the same schedule?
I
If
don't
you had to
know.
play San Francisco and Seattle twice
I don't
each.
know.
You didn't play them.
I know, but they
You
said,
played bad teams
but they
that the
said-
Rams played.
and they lost twice.
Okay. I'm not arguing. I don't really care if the Rams or the Patriots are better. Drake May is
Sounds
my
like you
MVP.
do.
Drake May is my MVP. Like
Doesn't sound like it.
This is just crap that doesn't matter. Like the Patriots scored 24 points against Atlanta. So did the Rams. The Patriots won.
seven-
The Atlanta lost.
7
Like,
of them were on special teams.
I
for
don't
the
care. All the
Rams.
points that Atlanta scored were on special teams too. On defense, they got a pick 6. Like it happens.
I'm just saying that Drake May scored 24 actual points, whereas
Plus,
Stafford
September
only
games
did
don't.
about-
September games don't count as much.
Okay.
too.
Well, what about November games? Do they count?
Yes,
Okay. Well, 24-23, you beat Atlanta because
We
they
beat
missed
them.
an extra point.
we beat them.
Okay. So like it
They
happens.
lost.
It happens.
I know, but they lost. We
And
beat
that-
them.
they lost to Carolina too. You beat Carolina.
That's right. That's right.
Smoked
Okay.
Carolina.
They didn't lose to the Raiders though.
Yeah, but September games don't count.
Oh, okay.
They're weighted less. They count.
They
all
are.
count.
They are.
But it's
weighted
costing. It's right now. That's costing you the number 1 seed.
It's
True.
So I know it didn't count, but right now we're going to be the number 2 seed instead of the
right.
1
When
Oh
you
my
put
seed.
it that way,
you
it
brought
did
up the
count.
one game that they were supposed to win that they didn't win.
No, I
Like-
think there's 2 games that they were supposed to win that they didn't win. Pittsburgh was a travesty of a loss.
that was.
Well, the way I'm folded, but I'm not surprised
Pittsburgh's a
going in.
bad team, and you lost at home because
We know
you turned
that
the ball
now.
over 5
Like I don't know
times.
if at the time that
I
we
know
were,
that was September. It doesn't count.
No, I just don't think at the time that we thought about these 2 teams the way we were thinking about it
I
now.
thought of that as a toss-up game, just like
Right, so
all the
they-
rest of them. They went. In my opinion, they went 10-2 in toss-up games. I thought they would go like 6-6 in toss-up games. So I give them all the credit in the world
Sounds
for
like
taking care of
Agreed.
business. Well, I just like to.
I know.
Be a
You
little,
like.
I like to
know,
have a
you
little
don't like the
honesty
Patriots.
with,
It's
with
okay.
the analysis. It's nothing could be
yeah.
further from the truth from that.
All right.
I'm just glad that we're able to talk about Drake May winning the MVP, and we don't want to jinx anything, like act like children.
All right. Back to the phones we go. Let's go to Herm in D.C. What's up, Herm?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey.
Herm.
I'm feeling good today. So 2 quick questions for you guys, right? So first question is, going into the playoffs, obviously with Matt Collins being on injured reserve, which caught me by surprise, how will the offense morph, right? It could Aston Chisholm be a serious solution for replacing Matt Collins? And my second question is kind of a loaded question, right? Again, I'm in a good mood, so I want to be nice today. If you guys were to be tasked to be consultants for a team that's like bad now, right? Whether it's the Jets or whoever, right? And obviously you probably would have to help them find a quarterback. What is your guys' criteria for evaluating a quarterback, right? So obviously everybody probably try to find the next Drake May, which is obviously the equivalent of finding a needle in a haystack. But I guess my question is, you guys' personal criteria for drafting a quarterback. Right?
So-
what do you guys look for specifically?
So I was just hired to be a consultant for the New York Jets. We need to turn this thing around. We need to get ourselves a quarterback. The first thing I do is I look internally. What are we bringing whoever the quarterback into? Do we have the right system around him and support system to bring in a young quarterback and make him good? That's the first thing I would do is who are my coaches? Who's my coordinator? Do I need to look at that first? Because I want to make sure that whoever I get, he's coming into a good situation from a support standpoint. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And we know that from experience.
Yeah.
Like what happened from Mac Jones on to here, like what that can look like, both bad and good. So that's the first thing I would do. And then I would say, okay, now who do we want to get?
So I actually did this in the 2024 draft.
Right? You got paid to be a consultant?
No, I
keep telling him that's what he should do.
I came up with my own criteria. When the Patriots were drafting 3rd overall in 2024 of what I would want in a quarterback. This is why Drake was my pick, because he fits all these boxes. But I had 3 boxes that I wanted them to check: elite physical traits, generates easy velocity from congested pockets. I think that's maybe the most underrated thing of anything with quarterbacks, because when you have in the NFL, pockets are much different in the NFL than they are in college. In college, they have all this room to throw. They can step up into it. There's nobody around them, especially these really good schools, quarterbacks that come from like Alabama and Ohio State that have these offensive lines that are 5 NFL players on the line. They're never under pressure. So when guys are in your lap, guys are at your feet, like, can you throw the ball with the same amount of velocity? That was what, in my opinion, is why Mac Jones failed, is because Mac Jones could only drive the ball down the field with clean pockets. So that was those 2 first things. The second one was at least a general grasp of mental processing. Like, I don't need you to be Tom Brady right out of the chute, but it needs to look like you have a general idea of what you're doing back there from a mental processing standpoint. I'd rather sacrifice that than the traits, but I need to have at least a little bit of...
I like that.
I know where he's looking. I understand why he's looking over there. He's seeing the coverages, things like that. But I think the one thing that Mac Jones taught me was that you need to have a baseline level of talent. Like, you just can't... You can't get away with it all mentally, and vice versa.
Yeah, I like that. I think those are 3 good points. I would refine the last one to how fast can you process accurately.
Yeah, that one's tough because, again, like in college, they just have all day.
I know.
Back there.
There has to be some way to at least get an idea, testing or whatever, once you start scouting these guys, like to gauge that, to put a number on it.
Yeah.
Because that's the speed of the game in the NFL. The pockets are smaller. You have to think faster and be able to just figure out what you're going to do, like half the time you have in college.
Yeah.
If not more. And that's where I think guys fail.
Yeah, I love Evan's thing about the generating velocity, though, because that's something that Drake, I'm always like, they're closing in, and he's able to get it out.
Operate in a phone booth,
quick.
because that's the NFL pocket.
Yeah.
You're never going to be sitting in a pocket that's perfectly clean in the NFL.
I think that's huge, and I think it's one of Drake May's best traits.
Yeah.
I can't believe how many accurate throws down the field he's made while the skip and rip. He's moving with guys at his feet, and he's sometimes in the air. That's elite arm talent.
Yeah. Thing I'd add,
and I think there's actually I think there's more guys like that than you think.
Yeah,
there's guys that have skill.
I think this year's kind of proven it out, though, that you need an experienced offensive coach to mentor that person, whether it's Ben Johnson, the head coach, or Sean Payton in Denver with Bo Nix.
That's Fred's point.
Or this year with Josh McDaniels. It's just, I think you need a guy. I mean, it was nice last year they tried with Alex Van Pelt, but an inexperienced guy who hadn't really done it, didn't know all the ins and outs of everything that young quarterback's going to have to face, and that would be priority 1 for me. It doesn't necessarily have to be the head coach. It can be the offensive coordinator.
The structure.
But
like
having a guy that you believe that's done it before, that you can entrust the quarterback's development to.
Yeah, I think guys like Drake May, guys like Josh Allen, guys like Justin Herbert have changed a lot about how we evaluate that position, where I think a lot of people prioritized processing, accuracy, that sort of stuff, which is extremely important. But I think that the physical tools are unteachable. Like, you can't either the guy
that was with Mac. You knew he was always
either he's an athlete and he has arm talent, or he doesn't. Like, there's no...
I'm lockstep with Evan on this, and it's why I really liked Caleb Williams and Drake May in that class. And that's been a good class. Those aren't the only 2 guys that have had any success.
Yeah.
There's different ways to do it, but that's why those 2 guys stood out to me. And I would ask, if you could only have one of the 2, would you want a guy with the skills that Drake May has, or the aptitude that Kyle Shanahan has, or Sean McVay? Like, I'm not sure. Like, I've seen a lot of great scheme. Like, I saw Kyle Shanahan win some games with Mac Jones because he has a great scheme, and obviously he made it easy, but he's just not good enough. Yeah. He's not good. They weren't going to win it with him. Now, I don't know. Evan might be right about Purdy. Purdy might not be good enough either. Right now, he's on a heater.
He's
but,
playing really well.
Who knows? I'm just looking at this stuff because you had made this earlier in the show, Mike. There's 16 quarterbacks that still have a chance to make the playoffs because we don't know if it's going to be Tampa or Carolina in the NFC. We don't know if it's going to be Baltimore or Pittsburgh in the AFC. So there's 16 quarterbacks alive. You know how many of them weren't first-round picks? 2. Purdy, who was a 7th-round pick, and Jalen Hurts, who was a 2nd-round pick. Every other guy was not only a first-round pick, the vast majority of them were top 10 picks.
Yeah.
You know, it's Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, C.J. Stroud, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young, and Caleb Williams. Those guys were all in the top 5, let alone top half of the round. Top 10, I think Josh Allen was 10 or 7, something like that. They're all top pick. You want a quarterback with the skills that Evan's talking about, you're not going to get him. Like, Purdy is fine, but he doesn't have those skills.
And I'd say the same thing about Jalen Hurts, who is a 2nd-round pick, is fine. But
yeah,
when he's asked to do the heavy lifting, I think the things that you look for is like, these are the skills that are going to translate to we can put it on his back and he's going to be able to, bring us to the promised
something wrong
land.
in Philly.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
Cheapers, they couldn't get a first down against Buffalo. I was
well,
like,
the
what
weather
is
was
this?
It was miserable.
It was miserable.
It really was miserable. It was a cold rain.
5 of those guys were first overall picks.
I can't believe they couldn't run the ball in Buffalo.
Yeah.
That was the thing that surprised me.
like-
I kind of think they shut it down in the second half, figuring they're not scoring on us. And I don't think that they didn't try to move the ball.
Yeah, they threw a couple up.
I'm not suggesting that. But I figured that they thought, we got a 13-point lead. They can't move the ball on us, and we're just going to run the ball in the second half. And they couldn't.
Yeah.
That's the thing that surprised me.
Yep.
Yeah, they should have taken the points.
Like in the third quarter?
Buffalo should have taken the
If
points.
they could have made the field goal.
This one,
they should have taken the field goal.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
That's the one. Can we get back to that game a little bit?
Yeah, a
Because
little
the McDermott thing that I think he's not catching any flack for is that.
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't move the ball. They completely lost control of the line the whole game.
Yeah.
The Eagles' front dominated the game. Every yard that Buffalo got was a struggle and a half. And like Mike said, was like Josh Allen leaving a part of his soul on the field. This whole they had momentum thing. Can I go over that game-winning drive, quote-unquote, the game-winning drive that included a 4th and 10 hook and ladder, a jump ball to my boy Mount Cooks, who made an unbelievable catch. Josh Allen on 3rd and goal broke 17 tackles to get down to the 2-yard line, and then they needed a 4th down push to get in the end zone. I give them all the credit in the world, Buffalo. But if I was Sean McDermott, I wouldn't have said, I don't know if I don't feel real good about putting another 10-play drive together. I'm taking one play to try to win the game right now, and it was there, and the quarterback missed the throw.
Yeah.
I mean, it was there.
Yeah.
I mean, he choked. What are you going to do? He missed it.
I get torn with him. I mean, I don't mind the decision to go for 2 just because you have Josh Allen, and
that play has got to be completed 10 times out of 10.
But, and how many of those
miss
plays?
That throw.
Right, and how many of those plays did he make? I mean, there were some big conversions. He had already made them over and over
and
again.
That's what I'm saying. We were home in time for the whole second half of that game.
Yeah.
Buffalo, every yard they got was like a miracle.
Yeah, right.
That's what I find so unbelievable about their offense. Is that, besides Cooks, Moss, and a guy, they have no downfield passing game.
Nothing.
It's all...
and that's not sustainable downfield passing.
Chuck it to
He made a couple of big catches down the field in this game, but that's not something to rely on.
But the Bills that we know are a team that was... Josh Allen's got the best arm talent in the league. It's explosive, and they're still explosive, but it's so different. It's run game, it's yards after the catch, and it's the tight end. A lot of it's Cook, the tight ends, like Shakir underneath.
And they definitely missed Kincaid in that game too. But they just couldn't give him any time to throw. And he's running around trying to make plays because he had to. He took one sack that he ended up fumbling the ball and lost 40 yards, and that led to the only touchdown of the game for the Eagles. And then he took another sack when they took over in great field position, that had to be a 20-yard loss and knocked them out of field goal range. But I agree with you, Fred. If they had taken the first field goal, which I think happened very early in the fourth quarter, that changed. There was plenty of time for possessions.
No, I think it might have been late third. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but
But I thought it was the fourth, but you might be right. It might have been late third.
Yeah.
And the way I look at it is that you had no control. So why do you think you're going to get a 4th and goal from the 5? You have no control of the line of scrimmage here. Why is this one? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least if I can get 2 yards at the end, and Josh Allen came a couple of blades of grass away from getting in.
Yep.
From the 2-yard line, I'll take my chances that maybe he can make a play. But I just didn't know at that time, take the field goal. Now, maybe they knew the field goal kicker couldn't make that either.
Yeah.
But they let him take the extra point.
It's just crazy to me that offense with Josh Allen has such a tough time moving the ball sometimes.
I know.
And that's he's awesome. So it's stuff
and give
around
Philly credit. They
their defense is very
but
good.
they contained Cook too.
Yeah.
They didn't let Cook run for 5 yards to carry.
I think that's the key.
Like he has been in so many games.
It should not be this hard for Buffalo.
But
to
it was a great game to watch though. That was like an old school game. Like you normally 13-12. I'm like, do that on your own time. But that was a good game to watch.
Oh, it was. That was so much fun
there was
watching.
some play,
we had real juice in it. I mean, I've never rooted against Buffalo so hard in my life.
No, I mean obviously the Patriots had a rooting interest, but I just meant the manner in which the game unfolded. Very different kind of game. The Patriots had no stakes in the Sunday night game. Was also fascinating to watch, but in a whole different way, 42-38.
Right.
It comes down to 2 yards away again. If Chicago, falls 2 yards short.
I just don't like having to chase it so early. It's like you don't know how the game's going to unfold, and you have an opportunity for points. What were they down? 13-0?
13-0. So that's 13-3. Then you score, it's 13-9, even if you do miss that extra point, and then the touchdown wins it. I know you can't play it like that because things change. Maybe the Eagles treat some of their offensive possessions differently had they scored. But I think that the line of thought was like you're going to have them backed up, and then we'll get the ball back.
Yeah,
and they did get it backed up, but
they got it right back.
But that's the possession that Allen ended up taking that big sack because they had no control of the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I couldn't believe that the Philly couldn't run the ball. Like that's a bad Bills run
Barkley
defense.
got a little banged up. He came back in the game, but
they weren't getting any
They
push.
shut him down, though.
Yeah, and they, think that's the biggest problem with the Eagles. Like the Eagles are a run-first offense that can't run the ball. So that's not a good formula for them.
Could you guys, when you were on the bus and the plane, feel like the tension around you? Because I imagine you're on devices, but then you're moving, so you got to switch off.
On the plane, it was really bad because the Wi-Fi wasn't that good. So it was sporadic.
Yeah.
So you'd get it back and like a possession had changed.
Right. No, that's what I imagine. There's some tension.
Once we got on the bus, now
some streams are working, some streams aren't working.
I am interested in that because I was part of it with Freddie, the one he talked about with 01. Now, but that was life and death. Like the bye, whether you're playing, like was it similar to that? Because to me, like
we beat the Panthers and we wrapped up the AFC East on that game. So we're on the plane home. We needed the Jets to beat the Raiders in order to get the bye, and it was the second bye, I believe. We weren't the number one seed.
It was the 2 seed.
And so it was right down to the wire, and we were looking on these little TVs with antennas, and it was the stats guy from BCN, the radio at the time, who said, Raiders won. And then Charlie Weiss was up front, and he had his own TV, and like maybe 2-3 minutes later, he's like, it's not over. We're like, what? So he's in the middle of the aisle watching this thing, and he's like, he's counting it down. It's like, Jets win, and the whole plane erupted.
I got to be honest, Fred. I didn't even know you could actually get a TV signal on a plane with one of those old antenna things.
You go from like one area of reception to another.
Right.
So you'll lose it for like 30 seconds, and then it'll come back, and it's like the old days when HBO started, and you didn't really pay for it, and you're looking for the nipple between the blinds, Right. Well, who didn't do that?
It's like
who didn't do that?
No, I did.
Yeah.
Did you have a scrambler?
Don't move.
You got a scrambler?
Of course, everybody did.
What are you
Playboy
talking
channel.
about?
In fact, I was out with those boys on Saturday.
I don't know.
All right, one more call, and then we're going to take a break.
Have to worry about it.
No, Richie Diary's on.
I was texting. Barth was texting me while we were in the air, and he's reacting to plays
I can only imagine how visceral that hate he had.
happening in the game, and he's like, oh no, and I'm like, what happened? I can see
But his visceral hatred totally would have clouded. Yeah, I would have. If I were you, I would have felt like you had no idea what even happened.
I couldn't do it. I had to because my streaming was behind, and so finally I'm like, I can't do this. Like on the last plays, I'm looking at my phone to jump ahead just to see because I couldn't wait. Like I'm on edge of my seat.
Just was. I mean, obviously you want to. What happened? You want it to happen so you can get it over with. But really, there wasn't as much to me pressure because you were going to beat Miami this week anyway and win the division. You didn't want to have to rely on that.
No.
But in the one he's talking about in 01, there was an enormous difference. Raiders win this game, you have to play a wild card game and then go to Oakland the next week.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Jets win that game, You get the week
Come to
off,
our snowstorm.
and then Oakland comes to you.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
that's a huge difference.
One more point, Fred. Just one other thing I kind of like, and maybe this is probably nonsense, but like having secured the division, if they win, no matter the result of this weekend, they probably win. It's not like we made it. It's a big celebration. We won the division and we're partying. Like it kind of, as soon as this game ends on Sunday, it's going to be right to the playoffs, the focus, you know? So you kind of got that like celebratory part of it out of the way. And I don't know. I think for a team that's probably going to have to play next weekend as well, it's a nice little bonus for me.
Michael's in Texas. What's up, Michael?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Happy Tuesday, you guys.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, so I wanted to quickly chime in on the whole Drake May nickname topic. I know you tried to close the book on it, Fred, but hear me out.
Okay.
So everybody has deemed Josh Allen Superman, rightfully so. But anybody who's a Superman fan who actually knows the comics knows that Superman was bested by a villain called Doomsday. So I say that we embrace it. The NFL's worst freaking nightmare is back. It's Drake Doomsday. Let's go.
Doomsday May.
Doomsday May?
I don't hate it, Michael.
All right. Thanks,
Cam
Michael.
Newton is Superman.
All right.
Always will be.
We might open up the, because I've got, there's all these emails with nicknames. So, I don't want to disappoint people. We'll probably do some of those when we come back. More calls, more emails right after this. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
With FedEx One Rate, you can ship to your student for a simple, predictable flat rate. Send a box full of home-baked treats that say, "Your father and I miss you." Or send a box full of instant noodles that says, "Your father and I would like you to stop asking us for money." Either way, one rate fits all. FedEx One Rate. 2-day shipping, one flat rate. Starting at $14.50. Visit FedEx.com/OneRate for details. Exclusions apply.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
Guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mike?
Great.
How was the bus ride home and kind of being able to find out and celebrate an AFC East title?
It was great. Everybody was kind of watching on their phones or following along, and I think the timing of it worked out well. That the Eagles were able to win, and then we were able to kind of time it up here and have the hats and the T-shirts here ready to go pretty quickly. And so I appreciate that, and Stick's crew having that ready to go. Players enjoyed it, staff enjoyed it. I thought it was perfect timing, and then everybody kind of went on their way.
How do you balance taking the time to celebrate while also keeping your sights on where
It was about 15 minutes to get a picture. The shirt's passed out and the hat's passed out and the picture's organized. But other than that, back to work and focused on the Dolphins and focused on who we may have and a plan that we'll have to try to put together to improve. And I think that's the biggest thing, is just trying to, really target the things that can reasonably be improved. from a technical standpoint, and just some, things that come up throughout the game that we maybe been working on and that we've seen or saw, and then some things that we maybe been working on that haven't showed up. And that's what you do. You stay consistent, and just continue to coach and coach. Again, I always talk about coaching the action and not the result, and making sure that the actions are positive and what we're looking for to help the team.
At your introductory press conference, you said that you were unsure if your team was capable of taking advantage of bad football yet. At what point did that shift for you?
I think that's probably, it kind of goes up and down. I think that changes by the day. Some days we do, and sometimes we don't. So I would say that we have done that more times than not.
How much does Hunter Henry exemplify what you look for in a leader when you talk about the culture you want here?
Well, I would just, again, talk about his consistency from the very first time that I've been here with him, through the OTAs, through the offseason, his work, his knowledge, but then being at training camp and, being where he's supposed to be and kind of always making the plays that we need him to make. And, so I appreciate him. I appreciate his leadership, and he always has good perspective. I value his opinion. That I always take it, but I appreciate the fact that he's not, he's comfortable sharing, the locker room and the thoughts of the locker room, or maybe what guys have going on and how I can address it.
With Mack's injury, is that something where you could see him come back in the postseason if the timeline's right?
Again, we won't be able to see him for another 3 weeks. So at that point in time, then we would have, make a decision, and I hope that's one that we could make. But right now, I don't think I can, predict anything.
Did that happen in the game last week?
That was a game injury, yeah.
With Jack Westover, we saw him go out with an ankle injury, I believe. Do you have any update on him and whether that's...
Sore, probably could have returned, but we'll monitor him here in the next couple days. I don't think it's anything that, is too significant, but, we'll just see how he, progresses here when we get back to work.
Let's get to you. Will Campbell, do you have a crystal ball? Do you think he will practice this week?
I think he will.
Coach, real quick. Obviously, when you beat a team 42-10, from a coaching standpoint, there isn't a lot there to complain about, right? But then you guys give up the fake punt.
There's plenty. There's plenty to. We can find it.
Right. I was going to say, but then you give up the fake punt there. Is that something where you could look at a play like that and say, hey, you know what, we won 42-10, but here's an example.
I think a guy made a play. I mean, it wasn't that they caught us off guard. We had a guy there. We were expecting that all week. I give Jeremy and Tom all the credit, the players, for being ready. I just think the guy made a play. Schools was there. I think Schools would tell you that, he wished he had that one back and to make the play. It came back the next time and overloaded us. And again, I'm really excited for those guys out there that had practiced that. And when we always kind of make a joke about the gray team and getting ready and having their hands in the ground and feet set when they rushed to the line of scrimmage, they overloaded us to the right, which is something that we had seen them do to our left. We got guys over there. KC made a great play. Corey made a great play. So, we were prepared for the other one. They made a play. But there are a lot more other details and technique things and tackling and finishing and protecting the quarterback and blocking some of these runs that we can improve on, not to sit here and harp on the 5-yard pass that they completed on, the punt return team.
What have you seen, Drake, that allows him to play with so much poise and decisiveness when teams try to disguise coverages against him?
I just think he's getting a lot more comfortable. He's knowledgeable. I think it means a lot to him to be able to manage and understand where we're going with the football and the run game and, in the passing game and knowing where he needs to be and where the protection issue may be. And, and then I think there's trust with the protection, at times. I think that there's trust. I think that there's a trust that he can transfer into the pocket. He can also extend. They got him a little bit on the one coverage and they jumped into cover two. he took a peek and then took off. And so, I know defensively that's frustrating because here you are, you see, get a quarterback to think it's one coverage and it's something else. And then all of a sudden he just takes off and scrambles for a first down. So those are great qualities to have, and not panicking and throwing it into, roll coverage and, just being able to pull the ball down and find an escape route.
Mike, speaking of qualities, I know you want and enjoy having a tough football team. How much does it help if your quarterback is one of the leaders in the toughness category?
Well, again, we always talk about, I believe that Drake is tough. I don't think we have to put it to the test, or, we don't have to always challenge his toughness. I think we just need to protect him the best that we can, and he has to understand that when he has the football, where he needs to be and how he can protect himself. So it helps to see him out there and blocking for guys on reverses, or being able to stand in there and deliver the football. There's no question. I don't question his toughness at all.
For a guy like Chiz.
And now, great moments in history.
If you stand up on the third level of the stadium, look out in the parking lot now, and remember what that parking lot used to look like.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like,
like
crushed
post-apocalyptic.
glass. It was like a big flea market parking lot.
You got to bring Morell in to make sure we were all safe.
Yeah.
And
Bring
plus,
on the
like,
Marines.
Like just how like the cement structures of like walking out into the lower level, where like you'd kind of come down the ramp, but you'd still be in like this like turret almost, like and then you'd come up and here's the stadium.
There's a field out there.
Yeah, it's right here, But I remember it raining there, and it would just be like a river
Like
coming through those things,
down,
You couldn't even get to.
It would come out of the pipe on the side, and it would go right down the stairs.
Awful place.
Oh,
and I mean, even inside, they had that one building in the end zone. That was the building. Everything was there. The locker rooms,
Stadium
administration,
clubs.
everything, and the back stairs led down to the locker room, and the
super box.
The smell of urine would just waft up into the where
it would
administration waft. It was just awful.
That's another great moment from.
All right, we're back. 855-PASS-500 is the hotline. Podcast@patriots.com is the email address. Let's get right into it. We'll start with Boston Cream. What's up, Boston Cream?
Yo.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey, I got a question for Paul and a question for Fred. Paul, what's it going to take for Drake May to surpass Drew Bledsoe in your heart?
Ooh,
never.
That's a good
my
question.
heart, not
That's
possible.
a good question. In my heart, that would be a tall order. But as a player, he's already done things that Drew Bledsoe never did.
Let's pick at you, Paul.
Okay.
Ran for
Again,
yards.
Ideal in fact.
Wow,
Scrambled once.
More emotion.
Had more than -2 yards rushing.
What was it? The deer or whatever?
Deer in
What
headlights?
did Ernie Adams compare him to?
Oh no, well, wounded wildebeest. I
wildebeest.
think.
And Fred, for our Pats fan pick'em, we're coming down to the last week. Is there any way the show could organize some sort of prize for the winner?
Yeah, we'll get something. Yep, something good.
Cool.
Jersey Mike Skip card.
Our current leader is Kevin from Minnesota, I believe, and he's 175-81.
Okay.
Pretty good.
The question, Boston Cream, is anyone worse than me? Please.
Not possible.
175-81.
Yes, the people who gave up in week 1 are somehow worse than Deuce, but that's about it.
175-81.
Well, they didn't start. Did they start week 1?
Is it not mathing?
It's not mathing.
It's not adding up?
No.
Oh, you know what? I haven't added in this week. Never mind. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Love the show.
Okay.
Thanks, Cream.
Thanks, Boston
But
Cream.
that's better than us.
Yeah. Oh no, this kid's doing well.
Yeah, I mean our leader had 83 losses heading into week 17.
What was their record?
He said 1-something-81.
Okay.
Deshaun's in West Virginia. Hey, Deshaun.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
Hey. All right.
Good. I just want to start by saying that I'm glad at how the city is actually playing out because regardless of how the other Patriots fans feel, I think we all just avoid the Bills at all costs because when you actually look at those other teams that y'all had to struggle against, like the Eagles, like the Texans, people want to talk about X's and O's, but it's really about the personnel too. they really had the personnel to really beat up on Josh Allen, really frustrate him, and make him pat the ball to the point where he gets frustrated and can't find anybody that he could throw the temperature or whatever. The Patriots don't have that. So I feel like that if he can go through some teams that are much better equipped to handle him, I'll feel much better about our chances of advancing forward. Because we don't have those guys that other teams have. That's basically what I wanted to say.
Okay. Thanks, Deshaun.
I think defensively, you're putting a lot of eggs in Milton Williams, Robert Spillane, Kyrus Tonga, and Harold Landry coming back and being close to 100% in what they were at the beginning of the season. Because I'm with Deshaun. I think disruption-wise, whether it's against the run or pressuring quarterbacks, they haven't really been great. I didn't even think they were that great against the Jets, to be honest with you. But they need those guys back. And I think that changes a lot. I just named, you start 11 guys, and I just named 4 of them that didn't play in the game and haven't been playing. So as much as I agree on the surface that they might not have a Will Anderson and a Daniel Hunter and guys like that, Milton Williams is a difference-making player.
He is.
And so if he comes back and he's himself and the ankle's fine and all that stuff, like, you got to kind of put yourself back into more like what they were in week 5 against Buffalo when they were disruptive and they were stopping the run, and not the team that you saw out there a couple weeks ago.
Such a key to me is like it's just such a different team without Cook. Like him being able to run, it seems like that's all they have. And when he can't get going, now it's like, all right, Josh, it's all on you to do everything now. At least when he has that element, he's able to, it just balances things out a little bit, both in the passing game and the run game. But I just was looking at the thing. I mean, is it right? Patriots' most likely path would be the Chargers, the Texans, and then the winner of the Bills and Broncos.
Well, if you assume the Texans are going to upset the Jaguars.
Okay.
So the Chargers are definitely the most likely first-round matchup.
Yes.
But
there's still some question about Buffalo and the Texans.
Well, all 3 of them really.
But who wins?
Right. Because if
Buffalo probably going to win, right? Are they?
Well,
playing
if the Patriots win their game, and then let's say the Texans or the Bills upset the Jaguars, then that team's going to Denver because it reseeds. It's not a bracket. So
the worst remaining seed.
I just really fell in love with their briefly being like, oh, Buffalo would have to go to Denver, and then the Patriots are either gonna have to go to Denver or host Buffalo.
That would be the most likely scenario, I think, because I think Buffalo is probably going to be. I think it's going to be Houston 5, Buffalo 6, Chargers 7.
Right.
So assuming the Patriots win, the next lowest seed would be Buffalo if they were to win.
And they're going.
And they would have to go to Denver.
They'd go to Denver.
I'd like that. I would like that very much.
Yeah, the Patriots could then, theoretically draw like the Steelers. In the divisional round.
Yeah, I would say probably Houston.
Or if Houston beats Pittsburgh.
Right.
Yeah, I think the league really took it to an absurd level this year with the whole Denver home game.
Well,
giving them the first seed like that,
we voted
just to
on
make sure that they, it's crazy.
Paying Jim Harbaugh that to sit out as quarterback in the last game, I thought
I thought that was
one
his
step
favor
beyond.
for John Harbaugh.
It was a bridge too far.
He's involved.
That was a John Harbaugh favor.
It's a deep conspiracy.
I enjoy really I've really come to enjoy the Broncos playing every game at home. Is there like some kind of rationality to how Jim Harbaugh is trying to help John Harbaugh?
Right. It's all connected.
As it relates to the Patriots somehow?
it's because of us beating them. They don't want to do us any favors.
Who beating? Like what?
Yeah. We beat the Ravens. So he's helping out his brother because they're pissed up that we beat
So
them.
it helps out John Harbaugh that Jim Harbaugh now has to go to Foxborough and play the Patriots.
Right.
They want to beat us.
Yeah, they want to beat us.
Oh, okay.
They want another crack at us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's throw this one out there.
This time I'm going to play Derrick Henry.
But Baltimore doesn't have that choice. Anyway, I could understand if you were saying Jim Harbaugh wants to lose this game because it helps Baltimore fall into play the Patriots in the playoffs. That would make some sense to me. It wouldn't be accurate, but it would make some sense to me. Here's a good conspiracy theory for you. You want to, as long as we're going to play in La La Land. I think Buffalo hosts the Jets.
They do.
Josh Allen's probably going to hand the ball off in the first play like he did last year in Week 18 and then watch the rest of the game. Mitch Trubisky plays. Any chance the Jets win that game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any chance that the Bills lose that game on purpose so they can fall to the 7th seed and play the Patriots?
Oh.
Yes.
And we'll spend the whole week saying, they wanted this. They wanted this.
Yeah, I mean that's what they did last year.
Yeah.
Against the Patriots. Now maybe they did it,
But it wasn't so they could play the Patriots
No,
in
it
the
was,
playoffs.
no. It was so the Patriots didn't get the #1 pick, is what I think. Honestly,
I guess the bigger question is there any chance that the Chargers beat the Broncos?
Yeah, there's a chance.
I think there is.
I think there's a
It's
chance.
small.
I think the Broncos
play
a lot of close games.
Yeah, a lot of one-score games.
And
against
Trey
teams.
Lance is. This is like the
Where's the
theory
game
that
being played?
You know the answer to that.
I do know the answer.
Yeah,
that's why I
yeah,
laughed.
yeah,
I gave you the cheap pop you were looking for.
It's unbelievable. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
Trey Lance is trying to establish himself.
He's
I
got
mean,
a
it's
little
like
Malik
year
Willis
4 or
thing.
5 now, but he's trying to find his way in the league, and this is an opportunity for him.
He looked,
I don't
he looked pretty
eliminate
good
it.
in the preseason, honestly. I mean, that was a preseason, but he did
Yeah.
look like better than he has in the preseason. But yeah, there's a lot of.
I would be more interested to see who else for the Chargers isn't going to play.
Yeah.
Like, is Herbert one of 7 guys that are going to sit, 7 regulars that are going to sit in the game, or 6, whatever the amount of inactives there is now?
It's a weird team, though.
Khalil Mack.
Because like Derwin James.
Derwin James.
Yeah,
Amari and Hampton.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like even they're not talking about like sitting like Derwin James is a great player. But Khalil Mack at this point, Amari
I'm
Hampton's
just saying,
a rookie.
like,
I don't know.
whoever you decide your key players are you're going to
Yeah.
sit them, and so
Sure.
now not only it's Trey Lance, but it's Trey Lance with all backups.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's what the Bills did last year.
Right.
They played all backups across the board.
Sawyer's in Penn State. What's up, Sawyer?
What's going on? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm here with my dad and brother. And we love the show, by the way. And we're split talking about Drake May being an obvious MVP candidate, especially after the Eagles game and Josh Allen kind of dropping the ball. Sorry, Evan, because I know that's your guy. And between him and Matt Stafford, would it be better if Stafford won it this year and Drake another year, because it might go the team or Drake's head, might make it harder to re-sign him, and it actually hasn't happened for a lot of QBs. It's only been Dan Marino, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson. They're the only guys that have ever won their MVP in their second season.
So it's happened a
And
lot.
gone to the Super Bowl, right?
No,
Or something
no,
like that.
just winning the MVP in the second year.
What was the thing about re-signing him? What was that?
I don't
makes
think
it tougher because
I don't
now
think
he's
it
got-
makes it
yeah,
tougher.
I don't think it makes it any
No.
tougher
Whether
or easier.
He had an
he's
MVP
gonna- right.
caliber season, whether he wins it or not.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going to write his own
Right.
check.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I had someone mentioned that to me the other day and was like,
Thanks,
it's going
Sawyer.
to add $10 million. And I was like, if he does want to take the Patriots for everything that, like, he will get every last penny, whether he wins the MVP or not. Like, he's going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL if he wants to be. So,
Yep.
My guess
I
is
wonder-
whoever signs first between him and Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever signs
Yeah.
second will be the highest paid player in football.
Yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
any chance that he has that incentive in his contract? If I'm MVP, I get more. Like
not
in a-
as
in a
rookie.
rookie-
You
rookie
can't have that
contract?
in a rookie
No.
contract.
No. No, you can't. Incentives, not really, no.
Okay. I thought that was the hang-up with rookie contracts. is
No.
The little
it's,
incentives.
no, it's how they pay out the.
Offset language and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's how they pay
Did I
out
get
the
that right?
guarantees.
Did I get that one right?
Sort of.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let you
Close
have it.
The
enough.
allocation of monies.
Yes.
Francisco is in North Carolina. What's up, Francisco?
What's going on? What's going on?
Hey.
All right. So first I'm gonna say shout out to my girlfriend and her mom. They told me that I couldn't ask for no more Patriot stuff. So we have a local store down here that makes like high school jerseys. So I had them pick me up a Drake May and Stephon Diggs high school jersey. Doesn't count as Patriot stuff. Loophole. And then second, all right. So before Travion went out with his concussion, they were. What was he the favorite to win Rookie of the Year that week or?
Oh,
He's
he's
in-
thought about that.
He's in the mix to win that. Yeah, with Ted McMillan and Ibuka's fallen off a little bit, but yeah, he's in the mix.
Yep.
And there's an Ohio State thing for Rookie of the Year too that works in his favor. A lot of Ohio
Oh,
State
really?
guys win Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Good players.
Zeke.
So what
Chase
would y'all
Young,
say he has
Garrett
to do this week
Garrett Wilson.
to lock it down? And then with the way the Rookie of the Year is shaping up, what's the chances that it goes to a lineman instead? All right. Thank you, guys.
No.
Okay.
0.0.
Yeah, they won't do that. Even though I think that would be cool if a lineman was worthy.
How's Mason
of it,
Graham doing?
Solid. Fine.
Not like rookie of the year level. I mean, it's hard. It would be really, really hard for an interior defensive lineman or an offensive lineman to win an award like that. Usually somebody in a statistical position has had a good year.
Yeah, I think defensive rookie of the year, I think, is going to go to Schlesinger, who's been awesome for the Browns. But
two more Ohio State guys, by the way, Joey and Nick Bosa, both edge rushers who get a bunch of sacks.
Yeah.
You know, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Todd's and Gardner. Hey, Todd.
I can't say that name.
It's tough.
Hey, gentlemen, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, Todd.
So I tried to think of a nickname, and I think I'm with Paul. I just don't think there's a good nickname. The only thing that I used AI for the nickname, and it came up with the humble howitzer, and that sounds pretty lame. And so I tried to make it.
I agree with Fred now.
How about Horowitzer?
Yeah, and the anagram was pretty bad too.
I don't know,
because
maybe like
you use
Jake
letters
Steele
to
or
say make ready May. I don't know that.
Again, if you have to say like I don't know, then it's not good. Yeah, it's got to be.
That's why I'm with Paul. No nickname.
Right.
Yeah. Keep them.
Well, that's not. That wasn't my thing. That's what these. I'm not taking credit for that. That's what the Drake May lover did, right? He doesn't need a nickname.
That's right. It's Drake May May.
Drake May.
He is him.
Get our guy in Florida to give us our nickname. You know, he's the guy for the nicknames, and we'll just go with whatever he calls it. Hopefully, Nick Baby Love's still with us.
Yeah, maybe.
May Train.
Yeah, let's go there.
The May Train.
Guys, thanks, man.
All right, thanks, Todd.
Be better.
Baby Love. Well, I don't need a nickname.
We haven't heard from Nick Baby Love this year. I hope he's doing all right.
I don't think I don't know if I've ever talked to Nick Baby Love.
He's a pre-post guy.
Yeah.
Always calling in, but yeah.
It's, whatever's going on outside.
So Paul
is
wants
really,
to do nicknames.
Can't wait.
So I've got tons of them here. I'll go through some. Anthony Draco.
Draco.
That's
kind of what we call him already, like Draco Malfoy.
Somebody was calling him Draco.
I think our social team is called him
I want to
Draco.
say it was last year, though, and I don't know if that person is still on the team now. But I've heard Draco before. Draco's been.
So, like, what is that?
It's like Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter.
I think it's just I just think, wow,
And I'm dismissive. I'm dismissive. Did you see that?
I don't know.
I'm taking full. I'm owning it. I'm
Harry
dismissive.
Potter.
I'm dismissive. Yeah.
I haven't heard
I'm owning
Draco. I haven't heard Draco this season, but I definitely heard Draco last season.
Let's see. Neil claims that the conductor has been used by Vrabel and several teammates.
The conductor? That sounds like kind of like.
Right, the conductor. Little guy with a hat watching the train come in the state. No.
It's a Keith Lockhart, right?
He would like a word. Who?
I love the Pops. I celebrate them every New Year's Eve. Hey, check out First Night in Boston this.
Right after All Access.
Right after all.
What are you, Billy Mays? Like.
Eric and Marilyn, during the post-game show, Paul let it be known his disdain for Drake May as a nickname and suggested a search for a new nickname. I don't recall if my contribution may have been mentioned before, but I suggest the Carolina Reaper.
Carolina Reaper.
No.
So,
it's no humble howitzer.
Yeah.
No, it's a little much. So
gotta shoot today with humble howitzer.
I feel like I need to defend myself a little bit.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
There's this notion that like I don't get it. Like I just don't find it funny.
It doesn't have to be funny.
I get it. I get that. I
find it funny at all.
I'm not asking.
It's not a
whether
joke.
Or not,
it's serious business we're talking about here.
Okay, so I was just suggesting that's really not a nickname. Now I understand.
That's the point.
That's the point. I understand that. This is like every time I say it, someone tweets me.
And tries to explain
don't at me. Don't at Paul.
No, but they try to explain it to me like I'm two, and I don't get it. Like I understand. Like it was explained to me, like I don't even know how long ago, about the Drake May lover site.
Yeah.
And I get like the kind of origin. I was added the piece of information during that post game show.
They learned you something.
The Tom Brady part of it was not explained to me initially. Yeah. Which I think adds important context to it.
I do too.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you. Finally, somebody gets it.
You're not serious.
No, not even a little.
This whole conversation's not serious.
It's
Hour
very
3 is
serious.
Drake May.
You would not believe the amount of people like, well, actually, it means. Blah, blah, blah. And finally, I just said, I get it. Lighten up. People like saying like I'm the old man like screaming into the like it's a bit. It's a joke.
Tyler from Delaware
can't wait.
has several.
Let's hear him.
The Maestro, no. Carolina Cold Blooded, no.
That's too many.
Magic May.
Magic May. What is this?
No.
Magic Mike?
Majestic Drake May.
Magic
no.
May's not terrible.
Yeah. The dude.
What is going on out there?
I don't know.
They're cleaning the floors. Yeah, got to get ready for the playoffs. The dude.
Was this the Big Lebowski?
The man.
The man.
Marvelous Drake May, or as previously said, in case you are reading this first, Marvelous or May VP when he wins the MVP.
Yeah, May VP is becoming a little bit more popular as well. Play on words.
Drake and Bake. That one just came to me.
Drake and Bake just came to you?
The skip and rip is a good one, right? The skip and rip's kind of his like, not a nickname, but it's a thing he does.
It's too bad that Sam Malone stole Mayday because Mayday would be good.
Yeah. Jay and Indy, Drake Mayo, like the sandwich bread because he spreads the ball around. No.
Yeah. That maybe had a chance until, you know.
You ever tried on a hot dog, Paul?
He owes his career to the guy who drafted him.
Yeah.
Elliot Wolf. Shout out, Elliot. Good job.
Good pick.
Let's see. Sam. No, he doesn't have a good one. He thought Stephon Diggs started the Drake May one. He didn't. It was, as Paul said, that's how it started.
The Drake May.
That's how you guys.
Yeah,
explained it to me.
John.
Yes.
Drake is
Okay.
one of the youngest players in the league at the moment, and we had the GOAT, so now we get the next-gen GOAT in the kid. Drake, the kid, May works in two fronts and is easy off the tongue.
Why don't you just call him Baby Goat?
Rather than confusing one,
right
Fred is
there.
championing at the moment. Maybe it could be, yeah. So I get that. The kid, which is a playoff, the GOAT.
Yeah.
Not bad.
How is the kid a playoff?
I don't like it
the
being
goat?
kid though, because like the name of a baby cow is a kid, and right?
Yeah.
Like a calf.
No.
Cow. Sorry. Goats.
Goats
cow?
are kids.
I get confused by farm
Yeah.
animals. I don't like sheep.
Ted Williams was the kid.
That's right.
Oh, he was also the splendid Splinter.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Sheep.
Jeremiah. What about Mayflower? Before the season, a lot of fans would use it as taking the Mayflower to the promised land, telling other people or players to hop on while he leads us to the Super Bowl. The Mayflower, no.
Fred's just so dismissive. It's so funny.
Who's this? Another Tyler. Let Drake bake. No. Let's see. No, let's see. Another one. This one. The Kakalaki Cannon.
Oh, North Kakalaki. I know that.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you, Mike.
Yeah.
Good,
about
Mike.
Drake cake because he's a snack.
Drake cakes.
Oh.
Drake cakes?
What's that?
Oh.
Okay.
Matt. Drake May lover.
Literally. And Michael, watch out.
So, like, none of these are.
Well, nothing moving the needle.
No, but Travis has some nicknames for some of our callers.
Oh,
Nate, can you hear me okay in Connecticut? Pat the Ambien in Agawam. Todd the Nod in Carolina because he makes you nod off. Sean the Yawn in Vancouver.
Wow.
Christian, the Great Debate You Love to Hate in L.A.
That's pretty good.
Those are a bit mean.
Well, we like that.
I do
Great
too.
debate
We
you
like
love to
that.
hate.
That's true. We do like that.
Yeah.
Rhymey. I like it.
Another person, the kid. Yeah.
He's not going to be a kid forever. Like, when like you name, you come up with baby names and you got to make sure that is that going to be good in like 20 years?
Right.
Like I can't call him the kid when he's 35 years old and still playing,
Yeah.
like that's not going to make any sense.
Yeah.
Draco.
It's bothering me who called him Draco.
Josh in Atlanta says Draco is a semi-automatic pistol. The nickname is not referring to Drake as a greasy-haired wizard.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike.
Oh, he was greasy-haired? Oh.
Yeah, so it's
Figured
he's like a pistol.
You know.
Okay.
Mike missed the actual.
It'd be better if it was a shotgun.
The Rifleman.
Oh. Elway, right?
Fred, another Fred, not me, says the Carolina Cannon.
All right.
I think we're gonna stick with Drake May.
I think so too.
I don't know. No, this isn't like.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Stamped it. That's it.
Nick,
my brother Lou.
Nick believes he's dropped the mic with his.
Oh.
Money May.
Money May. We'll see.
He's not a boxer.
We'll see. There's a lot
Money
of
May.
money.
Out of those, that's not terrible. Money May.
Further explanation as to what a Draco is. This
really
emailer
need to
says
know
it's a chopped-down machine gun famous for being hard to control and spraying. But to add the nickname conversation, I've heard people call him Drake the Schedule May,
The Schedule
which
is-
only really
Wow.
works for this year. But calling him the Schedule is a bit of a
That's tough.
jab to all the people who say, I don't mind that. The Schedule is kind of like The Weeknd.
Yeah.
That singer.
Oh, yeah. I saw him in concert here.
But
last summer.
that the schedule was popular at one
It was
point.
funny, like great throw by the
never heard
schedule.
that. Yeah, like
because
because
some funny tweets. You know, like
It's like owning it.
right?
You know,
showing
like-
like a May dime and like, wow,
kinda,
great throw by the schedule here.
Yeah, like Drake May would throw like a bomb, and then people would be like, oh, that must have just been because it's an easy schedule, right?
Right.
So
And so he has that for the
So it
rest of his
wasn't-
career.
I would have liked it better if it was from haters, and they were making fun of him. But
no,
this is like making fun.
No, it's your.
No, but
it's
this
your,
is owning it.
I
It's like-
forgot it. It was it's a Patriots fan thing.
Oh yeah, Drake May, drops a dime 65 yards down the field. Must have been because it was the schedule.
Oh, there goes
right?
the schedule again.
Right.
14-3.
We're back. They
The
hate us.
schedule.
The worst,
I like it.
the worst nightmares back.
I like it. I like it. It's blah. It's
now,
blah.
right. Now I remember.
That
so
one was
blah.
big, like around like the Saints, Titans, Browns stretch of the schedule.
So if there's anything to replace Drake
when did that
May,
stretch stop?
to me it would be the schedel.
The schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. For this
But-
year.
But I'm still
I
on
don't like the
Drake
schedule.
May.
I think that's disrespectful.
Okay. All right. So you're dismissive. How about Tim says Shakin' Drake?
Shakin' Drake.
And I helped.
I like the skip and rip though. I think that's got to remain part of the Drake May universe because it's his little. The first touchdown to Hooper was a little skip and rip, not quite as
Just think we're
pronounced.
destined not to have one. What is
He has one.
Tim has another
It's
one.
not really one.
Keep it simple with DM because we slid into the playoffs.
Oh man. Matt.
Tim has another one.
Was
the
that
mayor.
ChatGPT.
Definitely.
The mayor. No.
The mayor? Oh, I get it.
Bruno says since Mayday's already taken, why not May Drake? No.
What?
That doesn't make any sense.
Just flipping his name.
Parker says this isn't a democracy. When the world has a player gotten a nickname that has blanketed the fan base and then it changed. I don't know what that means.
Yes, I
this
agree
is the
with the
nickname.
emailer.
It's all over social media. Everyone loves it. Let it go. Get on with effing Drake May.
I'm with
Because
you,
the train
emailer.
is headed straight to the Super Bowl.
I'm with you, emailer. I've been
Amen.
trying to say that for an hour and 42 minutes. Like, this is the nickname. We keep
Drake.
on
I
trying
mean,
to.
really, it's just going to be Drake. I mean, when you're
He's
talking
just
about
Drake
him, he's
May.
always
It's
going to be
really
Drake.
all it is. He's going to be one of those guys
like
that he's
Josh.
the first name guy.
Drake.
And it's just Drake May. He doesn't need some fancy.
Russell in
like,
Florida,
weird
breaking news. He
nickname.
said the Cowboys
Bradley
have
on
cut
the Pat
Trevon
McAfee
Diggs.
show?
Oh,
They did.
I think
They-
he can, I
they-
don't think he
what
can
happened?
play anymore.
They
Do you have the emoji eyes looking at that on
Wait,
Twitter?
who got?
Stephon Diggs' brother.
cut.
Oh.
Yeah. Very expensive contract. So if you claim him on waivers, you also claim the contract. And I guarantee you nobody is going to want to claim that contract. So he's probably going to be a free agent by the time he clears waivers. Everybody goes through waivers this time of year, even
Right.
the veterans.
You wash.
After the trade deadline.
Probably a little bit washed, yeah.
Eduardo, Drake, the night mayor, May.
Oh.
No.
The night man.
Nope.
Here.
And
Too difficult.
The nightmare.
Let's see. L from Wisconsin. So Paul called me out last week, and I hate to admit it, but he was right. I was being dumb. The clutch argument is not a bad one. However, I don't know what that was about, but I feel like people were making it in bad faith. Sure, Tom Brady has a winning record while losing in the fourth. That's Tom Brady. Come on, the one game isn't going to settle it one way or another.
Yeah, that's how I felt after the Buffalo game, in fairness. Like, one time he didn't come through wasn't like he's not clutch. But I say the same thing after Baltimore. Okay, one time he did come through. I'm not now convinced that that's never going to be a problem.
The he needs to wear sleeves discussion is stupid, and I will never back down from that. My nickname suggestion, the chef. His wife bakes, and when he's on the field, he cooks.
Not terrible. Not terrible.
It's not strong enough.
And Michael would love it.
It's not strong enough.
Love it. What is it?
Bakemas.
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 Big cameo in the last one by Will.
Yeah.
Get Healthy
It was like
Campbell.
it was
Will
like a
something.
sourdough cinnamon roll, I think. It looked pretty dang
So
good.
when I was
It
at
was
the-
really good.
I was at the Sports Hub yesterday,
Yeah.
and there were a couple of hats laying around for Aria.
Oh, really?
And I wanted to grab one. I was like, "Hey, Will, I know you're a fan. You want one?"
I do appreciate the Drake May Will Campbell friendship though.
Oh, yeah.
That is real. They're
tight.
They are very
Well, Will
tight.
Campbell said, "I'd die for you" before he even met him. I would hope
Yeah,
that
but
there was
I
a
mean, they're like two peas in a pod. Like they're both from the South. They're both 22, 23 years old. They're together all the time.
Yep.
And it's kind of funny. I like it.
Aiden's in Plymouth. What's up, Aiden?
Hey guys, sorry to butt in on a long conversation about nicknames. We're on the same topic, but
Thank you, Aiden.
I got a pitch. But I want to say the Drake May. It works better written out. So like I like that in the internet comments. We don't really need to say it as much.
Yeah.
What I like about it is that he defies comparison. He's self-referential. He's a reference point. So whether we're talking about overthrowing receivers, Drake sprays, or our rivalry uniforms, which we could be calling the Drake Grays, he is always a reference point. So my thought was Drake May is the name. That's the nickname. He's the name. It's really versatile. You can bring it up in a lot of different ways. It could be like, I'm thinking of the Breaking Bad meme, say my name, Drake May,
Draking bad.
That's my pitch.
One thing I just thought of, and thanks for the call, Aiden. Drake has shown us the way. So should he be
All the way May?
lighthouse?
Oh.
No?
I thought Peter Frampton.
All the way May, I thought.
Maybe he's the way.
The way.
See, I agree with the
Like
caller though.
Mandalorian.
Like it's not
is
the
the way.
idea
This is the way.
of
This is the May.
Drake May isn't to say the whole thing.
You like that?
You like that?
You
huh?
like that?
Yeah.
It's just that it's just Drake May. Like he doesn't need a nickname.
No.
Like we don't
get
need
it. We know.
So then why are we doing this for 2 hours?
Because Paul said I'm dismissive,
Carolina.
and he says, "Who
I look
knows?"
forward to you now
Like-
getting the mentions.
Paul said maybe somebody will have
There's
something
absolutely
good.
nothing else going on with the football
let's
team
keep
right
going on
now,
these
so we
emails.
might as well
As
just talk about
usual-
nicknames over and over again.
As usual, Fred,
Playoffs.
you were right. You have a feel for these things, and we have not gotten very many.
The Iron
positive,
Maiden.
Iron Maiden.
No.
There are a lot of things that rhyme with Drake and May, though, so it is
I
pretty
feel like we're
versatile.
filibustering.
Chad
Yeah.
says nothing but a Dre day. No,
Ah,
no. I do like the way though.
the way.
He is the way.
All the
Eldred, what's up? Yeah.
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
All right.
How about every time I see him play, I call him the assassin because of the throws he make and the booty and what you call in the end zone. I just call him the assassin.
The assassin.
That's what I always call him.
Assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because his throwing style. But other than that, none of that. But I think y'all math wrong because y'all said Buffalo go to Denver, but that means Buffalo have to win a game.
Yeah.
Because Denver
Yeah.
got a bye.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the second round.
They would get the lowest.
Right.
Oh, the second round. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Assuming the Patriots
but
beat the Chargers, if they play the Chargers, and Buffalo is the next one. If they were to win, then they would have to go to Denver.
Go to Denver. Okay, but I'm.
But that's a long way down the road.
And you know
That's
what?
2 weeks.
Maybe
2 weeks out.
if you think Josh Allen is as good as Paul does, maybe you're hoping for that because that's the route to having the AFC Championship game in Foxborough.
That's the whole reason why Mike brought it up in the first place.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Good job, dude.
Good,
Yeah.
Mike.
No,
Good, Mike.
I know.
We listen.
I was nailing it.
Good, Mike.
So
You can
what
get
about
insight
you?
like that on All
I'm just saying,
Access.
I see.
And Patriots this week also.
Freaking superstar over there.
Can I ask y'all about
Mike
Diggs?
Dussault.
It's just the deuce.
Can I ask y'all about Diggs?
Sorry, Eldred.
About that report that came out?
Yeah, there's Patriots put a statement out, so we ain't touching it, but you can read the statement on Patriots.com and social, Eldred.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's go to Brad in Ohio. What's up, Brad?
Hey, crew, how you doing today?
Okay.
Good. So, this is a kind of a serious question, I guess, because it's looking ahead. So, my question is, what players are going to be the ones that'll play most likely in the playoff games coming up, and what percentage do you give those players to play, given where they're at right now in their injury, the last update you guys heard about, because I'm just curious for that. And then again, for the people that don't think you should play with sleeves, I've come from cold climates, my family. If you go stand out in 10-degree weather for 30 minutes, then let that person say that. So I would say that, it's different when you're actually out in it having to work or something like that.
Yeah.
So you might have to be prepared for it.
Okay.
But just check that out for me. Thank you.
Are we talking about?
Thanks, Brad.
Okay, so is he just talking about all of the players that are injured?
Yeah. He wants to know the percentage of them coming back, each one.
I would expect all of them to play besides Hollins. Hollins on injured reserve.
So what about Spillane? That's the one I don't know.
I would expect him to play. I expect him, Tonga.
Why do you
Milton,
expect him to play?
Campbell, because I think all of this is they've kind of known that they've been pretty locked in at this point with the playoffs and with the division, and I think that.
So you're saying if it was a playoff game now, he'd be playing?
Yeah, I think so. And that's not a report. I'm not saying. That's just my hunch. I just think that a lot of this was we are in pretty good shape, and we have a pretty soft end of the schedule, and so we're going to shut some of these guys down and get these guys ready for the playoffs. So I think that pretty much everybody at least has a very good chance to play, of course, besides Mac Hollins, who is going to be on injured reserve.
I'm really surprised there's been no reporting on Spillane at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Tonga
why
gets
I
hurt, and you hear
covered it.
like, oh, it sounds
Yep.
like a couple weeks from Ian Rappaport. Like, nothing. Like, we don't
Every
even know
guy has
where
had
he got
information
hurt.
attached to them, really, except for him.
Never.
That's why I don't. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I think the question that I would just have is, I think there are some questions about, what do you do with certain guys, and if their replacements are 100%, and they're only at 75, 80%, like is an 80% Harold Landry better than Anthony Jennings and Elijah Ponder kind of recreating Harold Landry, or Vidarian Lowe and Will Campbell, and plays. I think Milton Williams is the one guy where like if he's even 75%, you're putting Milton Williams on the field. But there are some questions about how healthy is healthy and all that stuff. But I think a lot of these guys were being managed towards the end of the season and probably could have played if last week was a
Like I would say
meaningful
Milton
game.
Williams could have been activated and played last week if it were a playoff game. I would think that, but that doesn't mean that he's necessarily ready to go. But I think if it's a playoff game, he probably would have played. I don't like the concussion guys. That's a whole different thing. That's a protocol.
Well, that's just.
And I don't know when Booty and Jared Wilson are going to
Yeah.
clear protocol. Hopefully now. But
Yep,
we'll
that's a
see.
fair one. Yeah, that's out of their hands in some ways.
Obviously Henderson did, and those other two didn't.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were resting them.
Do you guys know off the top of your head how many games Spillane has missed now? I think it's at least 2.
It's since
3.
Since the bye, he's been out. So
It's Buffalo, Baltimore, and the Jets, and he really didn't play very much in the second half of the Giants game before that.
Yeah.
Again, that's the only one that really hasn't had any reporting attached to it.
And I mean, you wonder, because I just tell the look on Vrabel's face when they said, last week, is there any chance that we see Robert Spillane? And he kind of sighed, looked frustrated, looked like we will not.
Not unless there's a Christmas
not
miracle.
unless there's a Christmas miracle
to get back on the practice field.
Yeah,
That's why to me that one was worth.
And now I'm questioning with the amount of games. Like, was there an IR consideration ever with him? Or was this something that, maybe it seemed small in that game that he came out of against the Giants, and then, he had an extra bye week to get healthy on it.
So hopefully Evan's right, and he's sort of slow playing it and downplaying it, and then he is going to be
I
healthy
imagine
for the
Spillane
playoffs.
is beside himself. I mean, he seems like the kind of guy that would just absolutely
what was
apoplectic.
was it out of the bye
that
that he was active and then didn't play?
Yeah, he was active in the Buffalo game, but didn't play.
Emergency.
In it. Yes.
That was the weird one.
Yeah,
that one was weird. He went through warm-ups. He clearly didn't look right in warm-ups, and then he didn't play a snap
I was
in the game.
wondering even if something happened to him in warm-ups.
Yeah.
But I don't. Again,
I mean, if you had
I'm
to
just speculating because there hasn't been any
I
reporting.
mean, based on what you've just kind of hear, I mean, like high ankle sprain is an injury that I mean, an ankle. Is it a foot or is it an ankle?
I think it's listed as an ankle. Originally, I thought it was a toe.
It was a foot, then it was an ankle.
Yeah.
They changed it.
Weird.
Sue's in either L.A. or Louisiana. What's up, Sue?
Oh, hi. I actually sent the nickname in, but you didn't read my email. And Fred kind of started to say it. The way May.
The way?
Drake the way May.
Oh, that's your one, Fred. You like
it?
I don't mind the way.
I think I started with the way in my email, then I realized even Drake the way May is even better, but you can do both.
Yep.
I like it. It's a Mandalorian reference. So.
Yeah. Okay.
I like it.
All right, Sue. Thank
knowing
you.
That. I kind of like Drake the way.
Drake the
kinda,
way.
It flows.
The way.
But you're telling me it's like a
Mandalorian.
It is. Yeah,
Don't
it's
worry.
the way.
Takes
Just for
something.
the nerds.
Takes a little something away.
Yeah,
Right,
sorry.
because
Well, that
people
is
like
this
that
is
show?
the
No,
way.
it's nerdy.
It's
Yeah.
nerdy.
A little nerdy. That's right.
We know Paul's anti-nerd.
That is the way.
I like you.
Just to give him
Thanks.
wedgies and
Appreciate that.
swirly birds.
We would not have been friends in high school. That's all you got to say.
You guys would have been football
No,
teammates.
because you were like heavy.
Paul
into
would have
sport,
loved your
right?
route
We
running,
probably would've.
but it would have been all handoffs, and he'd be like, "Ev, I'd love to throw the ball
Right.
to you. You're really
So
smart,
let
but I
me-
can't get it to
we
you."
got 5 minutes. What are your thoughts on, like, say, age 15, 16, Friday night, you're heading out, you go to a party, have a few Miller Lights.
At 15, 16?
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't my life.
We're not.
Okay,
we're
but
not.
I'm asking Evan.
We're not promoting
Yeah.
that. We're not encouraging that.
Would that be something you would have been interested in?
Maybe.
Okay, so we would have been perfectly good friends. You like sports and you like to hang out on the weekends and do things that you probably shouldn't at that age.
Yeah.
This was a
That
square.
was me.
No, I liked cereal and sitting at home. That was like hockey.
You didn't go out
cereal.
in high school?
I mean, Paul, I left after my junior, just up and left after my junior year.
Yeah,
like
but
it
that
wasn't
was a
like I
different
was like,
thing
oh,
that
my
I'm not going to
boys
get
and
into
stuff.
on this show.
No, I was a homebody. I was definitely a homebody and a little bit of a.
What do you mean you're up and left? What were you, like a pioneer?
I
You
tried
went
to
out
left.
west.
I'm like,
You
I'm
pouted.
leaving. I'm going to private
Gold
school.
rush.
Pouted. You never heard this story?
No,
we won't tell it on the
yeah.
air.
No,
We'll tell
was-
it off air.
I had to get out, but no, I was a little bit of, I was a
I had to
homebody.
lay a little- I had to get a safe house and lay low for a
Yeah, I was
while.
gonna say this really sounds dark.
He killed a guy with a trident.
Right. Yeah. No, it's I wasn't a big go out guy until like, and then I went away and I kind of got, mature a little bit. And then I was like, oh, all right, now I have some
Now, I
confidence,
definitely
but-
wouldn't have been able to do what you did.
Yeah.
So as a senior in high school, going to prep school,
Yeah.
no chance.
And repeat a year. I was like, stay
I
back.
wasn't even ready to go to college. I had a commute.
Stuck in Connecticut writes in to answer your question, Mike. Back when Gronk and Hernandez joined the team, Andy Hart wanted them to be G-Force and A-Bomb. He absolutely
Thank you.
tried to make it a thing.
Thank you. I'm glad
that
someone
did
else
not
heard
age
A-bomb.
Yeah, I think I remember poo-pooing that as well.
That did not.
Yeah,
age
I vaguely remember the two of them. Yeah.
I think
Well,
I
I just
remember.
Gronk
Andy
is
ought to
such
try too hard.
a great last name and such
You
an
think?
easy nickname that's just so Gronk. Like I was like, it's staring you in the face, Andy. Come on.
Well, you could be
It's so
Dan
easy, he
Dierdorf,
could say it.
right? You could be Dierdorf and call him the Gronk, which used to also irritate Andy. It's not the Gronk, it's Gronk.
This is what you guys always do. You change my argument and put words in my mouth.
All right. Well, we tried, but the nickname is
The Way.
Drake May.
The way.
The way.
The way or the schedule are kind of runner up.
And skip and rip is
The
lurking.
schedule would be like an NBA nickname. Like
We
the,
really
the
got
big,
to the bottom
the
of
big
it, guys.
ticket.
I like the big
You're going to
ticket.
continue this tomorrow on Catch 22,
Yeah, I
of course,
can't
right?
wait.
If Evan and Alex spend 1 second on this tomorrow, I will be stunned.
Oh, yeah.
1 second.
Oh no,
They won't
You're
spend it. No.
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 And Bart's been like all over 98.5 this week, right? Like he's been
Oh, this
just
is his
fake. I mean,
Super Bowl.
Holiday
This is
fill-in
his
time.
call
This is
the
his time to
fill-in. I mean,
shine.
but he's like the
Yeah.
first guy up off the
I
bench,
did a show
right?
with Alex last Friday. Alex and I did 4 very highly rated hours.
He must make it easy, I imagine.
It was a
Barth.
lot of fun. We had
Yeah.
a good
He just-
time.
he's got-
I hope he had fun too.
he watched
said,
so much
he said
football.
He did. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
he tells Evan different things
Got
when they
nothing
make
else to do.
when they're making fun of me.
Are you any more scheduled shows?
No,
That's it?
no. I told you they
Ah.
wanted me for tomorrow, but I did not want to miss another show.
Yeah.
Another
That's
one of our
so big
shows.
of you.
Because we got to talk a
Thank
lot
you
more.
Well,
for
because
that, Paul.
Fred allowed me to leave an hour early
You
last
can go
week.
in late. You can just
Yeah.
go in late.
Coming in hot.
Make an appearance.
Well, they wanted
Yeah.
me 10 to 2,
Yeah.
so that would have been
Oh.
missing the whole show.
Okay.
That would have been going up against
Not the
us.
big show.
competing. Yeah. Although sometimes when we do our player interview, because we do that Wednesday afternoons at 4, so we'll be like, we're like, hey, that's the other guy we work with, Paul.
And they say, I don't know, I've never seen him in my life.
No, Rhamondre was like, that's my dog, Paul.
All right.
Yes, Rhamondre knows me.
That's your dog. That's the show. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. Is tomorrow New Year's Eve?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll be back.
According to my brother Luke.
New Year's Eve. No show on Thursday, just for your
viewing pleasure.
Yeah.
But there will be practice.
Just for your
and
scheduled pleasure.
And coaches.
But Catch 22 tomorrow at 10.
Yes.
Big show. You're going to dissect and analyze the Jets game.
2 hours of Drake May nicknames.
That means picks tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
That means picks
shoot,
tomorrow.
We got to hurry.
Yep.
Shoot.
All right. We'll see you then.
Hey, this is Alex. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.